You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Wherever it is, they're here for it. You just heard there from Thomas Frank, the Spurs manager. Scott Minto is alongside me ahead of this commentary. Thomas Frank is one of those managers, having had the privilege of interviewing him a few times now, Scott. One of those managers where you come away from an interview with him, particularly post-match, thinking, do you know what, I've learned something there. And that doesn't happen often, I tell you. I'm impressed with... Look, he's a highly intelligent man. He's very engaging, of course, and that shouldn't be an excuse just to like him. But I do feel like he's a proper thinker about the game.
Yeah, I agree. And look, you know, we've gone from one Tottenham manager where, I mean, to be fair, in the end, Ange did change his tactics a little bit, and that's why they actually won the Europa League in the end, towards the end of last season. But really, his philosophy was attack, high line. But you know, and this is where we play, mate. You know, this is one way or the highway. Whereas with Thomas Frank, we already saw in the first few games of the season, I mean, including the PSG game as well, where there was 3 at the back, 4 at the back. We thought it'd be 3 at the back again against Manchester City, but they didn't. They were forward and they pressed high. I just think he looks at each individual game and say, how can we win this particular match? And that's the only reason why I've, you know, chucked in that there's a possibility of a 3 at the back tonight. I think it will be a 4. But he does look at each particular game, and you know, listening to some Spurs fans, and they were sort of saying, oh, the substitution should have been made earlier at the weekend. And, you know, you don't make a substitution when you've got a defensive corner. Could it have been made even earlier? Well, actually, the start of the second half, I thought Spurs were the better side. It was just one brilliant piece of skill, pass, finish, touch. That was the difference. And then what was the disappointing thing was Villa sort of game managed it really well, and Spurs never really looked like they were going to win the game. So I do think from an attacking point of view, when he gets his players back, that will see even more of his sort of football intelligence and tactics and style. But at the moment so far, I'm with you. I really like him, and I think he is what Spurs needs right now. He just needs his best players fit and been given a little bit of time.
Players are just making their way onto the pitch, coming from down below at the Stade Louis II that holds just shy of 20,000 spectators normally. There's actually sections of the stadium that have been closed off because they're changing the colours of the seats, making them all red and white in tune with the club's colours rather than the yellow and red that have populated the stadium for so long. And it comes up on you almost out of nowhere, the Stade Louis II, beautifully appointed right on the harbour in Monaco, not too far from where all the posh yachts are. But it springs up out of nowhere. It's not the most imposing stadium, but it's beautifully appointed nonetheless.
Yeah, we passed your yacht a little bit earlier, didn't we?
That's right, yeah. Gone fishing. Not particularly original, but yeah.
I mean, look, it's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful area. Obviously, with the monetary side of things, the tax-free, it's even better to sort of live there. But it's not really a football place, you know. And I think, as you sort of rightly described, how suddenly the stadium just appears upon you. It's not a massive stadium. They're not real tribalistic fans. You know, it's not the highest of emotions and passion that you get here, which I just think, you know, as I say, I did the City game, and they should have put the game to bed a long way before Eric Dyer stepped up and took the penalty and got the equaliser right at the very end. But no, I think this is a game that is there for the taking for Spurs.
Monaco is a club that's had some incredible players pass through its ranks over the years. Earlier on Talksport, we were talking about Glenn Hoddle, who has the connection between both these sides tonight. One of the greatest footballers I ever saw play the game. I think about my dear old dad, who used to shift in his seat if there was a player on telly he really liked watching. He did it for Michel Platini. I'm told by my late mum that he did it for Bobby Charlton. He did it for Maradona, and he did it for Glenn Hoddle. And that was about it in terms of players that got my dad genuinely moved by what he was watching. But Kylian Mbappe, Thierry Henry, Arsène Wenger, let's not forget, has a connection with Monaco from people we all know. But yeah, there are not 20,000 spectators inside the stadium tonight, probably about 2/3 of that, I would suggest. But there is a travelling contingent from North London. There is a North London connection in the Monaco starting lineup in Folarin Balogun, the number 9, brought into the side tonight by Pocognoli. He's an American, made 10 appearances for Arsenal between 2019 and 2022, and he's more of a physical presence up front rather than Mika Bierret, the Dane, who was more of a player that tries to run in behind defences. So maybe they're thinking he'll enjoy the contest up against Danso and Van der Ven.
Yeah, just on Glenn, I mentioned it earlier on Talksport 1. He took me to Chelsea. He was, I won't go through the players, but I played with some incredible players, and just in Polizzola, Di Canio, just to name a few. But Glenn technically was the best player I ever played with. Left foot, right foot. I won't bore you with the warm-ups we used to do, but let's just say it was about keepy uppies, and the ball's flying absolutely everywhere, even from some of our top players. But Glenn, left foot, right foot, shoulder, catch the back of the neck. The ball never dropped. He was just absolutely incredible, and that was the last year of his football career. So what was he like in his prime? But no, in terms of Monaco here, you're right. I think, the sort of front three, and it is like a 3-4-2-1. So you've got Balogun, who will give that physical aspect to it, but Akliouche and Ansu Fati as well, they're the sort of creators. They're the ones that Spurs need to watch out for, running off the back of Balogun, or maybe that second ball where he can lay them to them, and then they're looking to do something special. So that's where the back four, and Paulinho and Bentancur in particular, just need to be careful. As I say, if Spurs are very much on the front foot, if they're very positive, I think they can outdo this Monaco side, who of course are without Paul Pogba as well as Eric Dyer.
Hasn't featured yet, Pogba, since his free transfer. Hasn't been fit enough. Eric Dyer would have loved to have played tonight against his old club, but injury deprives Monaco of his services. He was the man that scored the late penalty that got Monaco a point against Manchester City. And just one more about Glenn Hoddle. One of the few times I saw him play live was when he came to St Andrews as Swindon player manager in '94. He was playing in defence. Birmingham went 4-1 up after an hour. He pushed himself into midfield. Final score, Birmingham 4, Swindon 6. He was unplayable for half an hour.
Well, even very quicker than that, Ruud Gullit came to Chelsea and said, I want to play sweeper, I want to have it a little bit easy. He went, no, I'm the gaffer, I'm playing sweeper. Ruud was in midfield. So those two as sweeper and centre midfield, it was just incredible.
We are underway on Talksport 2. Monaco in their traditional red and white, Spurs in the all black strip tonight. Straight away Wilson Odobert gets down the left hand side of the area, but fires across the face of goal from left to right, but nobody could keep up with the former Burnley man, so Monaco get to volley the ball clear. Spurs kicking from left to right as we look, and Monaco are in possession just inside their own half. It's tucked in field, sent up to halfway. Good skill on the left hand side, but trying to get Mo Salisu into the game, but the ball's out of play. Pedro Porro takes the throw. It does look like Archie Gray's playing at left back as we guessed, and it was a guess.
Yeah, no, just about to say. Well, I'd like to think it was a half-educated guess, but absolutely it is a back four for sure. But Archie Gray already trying to bomb on down the left-hand side.
As is Lucas Bergvall, one of the other players brought in tonight by Thomas Frank, trying to combine with Gray down the far left-hand side. And you get it half clear, and then there's a handball in midfield by Paulinho, and that gives a free kick for Monaco, who are in the Champions League for a second year in a row. They're not regulars in the Champions League by any stretch of the imagination, but here they are, pitting their wits against Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League. But the ball worked back by Van der Ven to the keeper. There's plenty of other football tonight. There's 4 games in the Championship. I'll keep you in touch with home games at Swansea, Watford, Wrexham and Sheffield Wednesday. That's just got underway. And there's other games in the Champions League. Already Galatasaray and Athletic Club have won their tea time games against Bodo Glimt and Karabakh respectively. Ball's tucked back to Pedro Porro in the right back position. Danso, who came in extremis on Sunday when Christian Romero picked up an injury in the warm-up, unclear as to exactly how long he's going to be out for Tottenham Hotspur. Poor ball from Porro, intercepted by Monaco. Akliouche trying to work the Oracle midfield, but he's intercepted by Paulinho. And once again Wilson Odobert is on the charge down the left-hand side for Tottenham. Got them backpedaling. Kehrer trying to hold him up. Odobert gets to the left-hand corner of the penalty box and then loses out. And Akliouche wins the ball back, and Kehrer will play it across his own penalty area to former Southampton man Mo Salisu, who's been tracked by Richarlison, and by Monaco clearing it, they give the ball away. Spurs have it back midway point of the Monaco half. Nearly 3 minutes gone, 0-0 in the Champions League. Porro on the near touchline, the right, plays a neat 1-2 and gets away down the right-hand side as he tried to combine with Kudus. Kudus will now pick it up, will he? Right-hand corner of the area, brings it down, being faced up on that side by Ouattara. Tucks the ball in field for Palhinha. And now Danso wants to slide it down the right side of the box for Bergmal, who'd made a good run, but he was caught offside. Free kick to Monaco in their left-back position, 0-0.
Yeah, it was a good line in the end for Monaco, but actually it's been a very positive start from Spurs. Again, I said about how they need to be on the front foot, and they're looking to. And despite Monaco playing at home at the moment, they're kind of just trying to sit back and possibly counter, but Spurs aren't even letting them do that. So territorially, even though there's not been any chances in the first almost 4 minutes, Spurs have started very well.
That's Scott Minto alongside me, Ian Danter on commentary, as Monaco bring the ball forward on the 4-minute mark, looking for Kazum Ouattara, left-hand side, early ball into the area. Balogun with his back to goal, looks to tee it up, but the shot is blocked and cleared away by Porro. That was a swift break down the left-hand side for Monaco, and they've won it back again. And there is a free kick awarded for Enrique, the Brazilian, coming forward from centre-half, taken out by Kudus. Free kick Monaco, 0-0.
Yeah, and I mentioned how Monaco almost playing like the away side in the counter-attack, and that's exactly what they did just then. They're looking to try and try to be tight, suck them in, Spurs, and then try and counter. And created just half a chance, didn't quite get a shot off there, but in the end the ball was pinged into Kudus. 2 players around him, he's ended up fouling one of the Monaco players, and now it's an opportunity for them to put a really good ball in the box.
Jordan Tezza will have the free kick, central midfielder. Enrique there with him, but right-footed, dinked into the box, but headed out by Danso. Comes out to the edge of the area. Up goes Richarlison, defending well, but it comes back to Tezza, 30 yards out. Plays a neat 1-2. He's got it again, slides it into the edge of the area, looking for Balogun, but it was intercepted in the nick of time by the Spurs backline. But they've given it away again. Enrique gets away down the left-hand side, being pressurised by Palhinha, who does well in the end and gets Spurs a throw in their right-back position. 5 gone, 0-0.
Now, we saw in the warm-up, didn't we, the Spurs practicing defending free kicks, and there was lots of numbers in there, and when that ball came in, you can see lots of Spurs players who are in the right positions. They headed it out. That's one thing they cannot afford to do. We talked to Adrian Durham earlier about how important set pieces are in today's game. We mustn't forget, defending the set pieces obviously is just as important, and they defended well there.
A couple of goals in the EFL. Wrexham 1, Oxford United 0. Nathan Broadhead for Wrexham, who have no win in 4 going into tonight. And QPR lead at Swansea. Roman Burrell for QPR, who had their first defeat in 7 against Millwall at the weekend. And Sheffield Wednesday Middlesbrough 1. Morgan Whittaker has just put Middlesbrough in front at Hillsborough. They're 4 points off Coventry at the top of the table. Borough, they lead at Hillsborough. And in the Champions League, Bayern Munich lead Club Brugge early on by a goal to 0, but it's not Harry Kane for a change. Lennart Kahl with a goal for the German champions. 0-0 in the Stade Louis II. 6 minutes gone on Talksport 2. Here's Kevin Danso for Spurs in the centre circle. Slides a pass to Pedro Porro to his right. Kudus holding this near touchline, trying to get away from Ouattara as he has to move back towards the halfway line and find Kevin Danso. Lovely drop of the shoulder to get away from Balogun, and then he passed the ball straight out of play, looking for the invisible man on this right-hand side, and it's a throw to Monaco.
Could you imagine Harry Kane in this Tottenham side?
Well, he's been playing as a withdrawn sort of 10 some buying games.
He's that good. He can play anywhere. There's a 9, there's a 10. I saw the game against Chelsea. He was playing as almost as a 6 at times, running the game.
Kudus swings the ball over from the right-hand side. It's brought down by Odobert very neatly as the ball dropped over his shoulder. Now Lucas Bergval, just in from the left-hand touchline, about 30 yards from goal. Gives it out to Gray on that left-hand side. Archie Gray, in case you're just tuning in, playing at left-back tonight in a 4 for Tottenham Hotspur. With the score at 0-0, 7.5 minutes gone. Pedro Porro with a diagonal ball into the box. Bergval looking for it, but the ball just drifts in the air and through to Philip Cohn, the Monaco goalkeeper. Very comfortable claim in the end for the man in all green, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, it was the right idea, but because he was so far away, he's just sort of clipped it. But That gives the keeper so much time then to come out and claim it. If he'd have kind of whipped it, he's capable of doing that, Pedro Porro. Puts in some wonderful crosses at times. And there was a 2v1 at the far post.
Teza for Monaco out to the left-hand side. Enrique will find Ouattara, who's caught on halfway by Kudus, his opposite number. And the Italian referee, Mr. Guida, gives the free kick to AS Monaco, as Kudus definitely caught Ouattara on the ankle.
Yeah, it's definitely a foul, but you know, in the football world we live in right now, where you really want all 11 players, if possible, to track back. If your best player, and Mo Kudus is right now for Spurs, for showing that kind of commitment defensively, you know, on a night where Liverpool have dropped Mo Salah as well, I think that just bodes well for the team, the example he sets.
Here's Magnez Akliouche looking down the right-hand side for Diatta. But across came Archie Gray, no-nonsense clearance, puts it out of play for a throw to Monaco, level with the 18-yard line, still goalless.
He's such a good player, isn't he? And yet he still hasn't really been given a chance where he's best at.
Ouattara plays the ball into the area, Ansu Fati tries to bring it down, first touch was heavy, Lad Spurs to get it clear, but Salisu wins it back inside the centre circle. Akliouche tucks it out to the right-hand side for Diatta. Akliouche with his head of curly hair, very distinctive on that right-hand side of the Monaco midfield. Teza looks for Fati. Fati gets to the edge of the D, actually slips it into Akliouche, whose shot is blocked by Gray. That may well have been on target, but Gray blocked the shot at source. But Akliouche just allowed to carry the ball forward. Ball played into the box, and Balogun gets in behind Van der Ven and wins a corner as his shot from a tight angle is blocked behind by Vicario. 0-0, Monaco corner.
Two open Spurs, not once but twice. And actually, he should have done better with that shot, because Archie Gray was about 2-3 yards off him, and he shot straight at him. And then Balogun just gets in behind Van der Ven. He's got to be careful, Van der Ven, that he doesn't actually foul and give away a penalty. There's no way Vicario should be beaten from there, and he wasn't. But just in the last minute or so, Monaco showing what they can do going forward.
So Caio Henrique, the Brazilian centre half, will be taking the corner kick. Left-footed in-swinger from the right-hand side for Monaco. Raises his right arm, drills it in, right to the far post. Good claim from Vicario inside his 6-yard box. And the danger passes for Tottenham, 0-0.
Let's see if Spurs can counter-attack. Certainly trying to with Mo Kudus. Really good throw out from Vicario.
Trying to do a Nick Pope from last night for
yes.
Newcastle for that goal against Benfica.
Well, look, Newcastle were under pressure for a bit in the first half last night. Benfica hit the post. Nick Pope made a really good save. And they were playing at home. So whoever you play in the Champions League, you need to be bang on it mentally. If you are, I believe both individually and as a team, this is a much better Spurs team. They can just ride the wave for the first 20-25 minutes, can control the game. I wouldn't necessarily say quieten the crowd, because you don't necessarily have to here.
No.
But just show that you're the better team, and then in the second half go on and win it.
Long throw coming in from Kevin Danso from the Spurs right. As soon as I say that, he throws it in short when he was looking to wind it up. Kudus drops his shoulder, trying to get away from Ouattara down the right-hand side, wriggling away from the attentions of the defender, and hits the ball against the left leg of Ouattara and wins a corner for Spurs, their first of the game on 11 minutes, 0-0.
Yeah, and sometimes when someone's in so much form, it's not that they're a one-man team, but you just want to try and find a way to get the ball to him as much as possible. And Mo Kudus, well, he has been sensational, isn't he? A lot of players have come in and not quite hit the ground running. You can't accuse that of him.
Based on Monday night, Boyd of West Ham missing. Corner kick that Kudus is going to take, left-footed, in-swinger from the end where the Spurs fans are quite a way behind the goal because of the running track around the Stade Louis II. Kudus then with this delivery into the near post, blocked on the line by the goalkeeper. Van der Ven puts his hands on top of his head. He had a chance just to glance it in. And now on the counter-attack, Ansu Fati's away for Monaco into the area left-hand side. Is he going to knock it across the face of goal? He tried to find Akliouche unselfishly, and that allowed Spurs just to get it away. But they've got it back right-hand side, Monaco. 3 to Waymat with a cross. Akliouche inside the area, goes for goal, but it's straight to Vicario. And Spurs survive again as a quick counter-attack undid them.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a brilliant cross-in, corner-in from Kudus. That in the end was well defended from Monaco. And again, we talked about how they're looking to try and play in the counter-attack. Archie Gray did really well in the end, reading the situation, but it was him who played Akliouche onside. And in the end, he kind of rescued himself, but still Monaco attacked again. And then by the time that Akliouche had the second shot, still there were Tottenham players just too far off him, and it was a poor shot that went straight at Vicario. Already they're showing Monaco very dangerous and can open this Spurs side up. Spurs need to be much better defensively.
You're listening to Monaco 0, Tottenham 0 in the Champions League on Talksport 2. Here's Ansu Fati finding Ouattara down the left-hand side of the area, pulls it across the face of goal, and Archie Gray's there again to deny Akliouche, but it comes out 30 yards from goal. Might be a chance for a shot on here. It was worked wide by Koulibaly to Diatta. His crossing is headed away by Porro. But again, the red and white shirts have it back for Monaco. And then in steps Kudus again, as Scott Minto has been saying, working back hard, as diligent as he can as an attacking player. But again, Monaco have it 0-0.
They're just giving the ball away, though. That's the thing, because they're under so much pressure. The ball fell to Pedro Porro, and he felt under pressure because of what's happened in the last few minutes. So he's not even looked up and just hoofed it down and just given the ball back. They've got to be able to keep it up there. You know, whether that's Richarlison, Kudus himself, or Odobert as well. They can't just have the Tottenham defence under this amount of pressure.
Bergdahl just fouled on halfway by Crepin Diatta. Can't believe that's been given as a free kick against him, the right wing back. And he smiles at the referee as he walks towards him. I can see he's got a point. It's been a 6 and 1/2 a dozen the other there with that challenge.
He's just put his foot in front of Bergvall, who's tried to make the sliding tackle, and therefore it's almost Bergvall's gone into him rather than the other way round. Look, I don't agree with the decision, but we'll take it right now because Spurs are very much under pressure just in the last 3 or 4 minutes and just need to slow the game down a little bit.
Bayern Munich 2, Club Brugge 0.
Yeah.
You don't need to say any more than that. Ian Dancer and Scott Minto with you. Quarter of an hour played. You are listening to Monaco 0, Tottenham 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it.
Do you know what?
What?
You get to the end of the season, and obviously with Enoch getting rid of Daniel Levy, and you know that kind of shield now has gone, and they're saying they want to put more money in. I know Harry Kane will be 31 or so at the end of the season.
Yes.
What a misstatement that would make to try and get him back.
Akliouche trying to make a statement for Monaco as he moves into the inside right channel. Teza takes over, slides it out to the right hand side. It's played down the right hand side of the box for Koulibaly. He's got 3 to aim at, gets to the dead ball line, checks back, had a shot himself from a tight angle, and there were 3 Spurs players in front of him. It was ambitious from Koulibaly, and then Porro gets nudged over by Ouattara, and Spurs have a free kick in their right back position in the Champions League. Marseille lead at Sporting. Igor Paixão puts the French side ahead in Lisbon. In Monaco, it is still Monaco 0, Tottenham 0. We played nearly 16 minutes. Scott Minto.
Yeah, after what was a very good start, there's no doubt about it, the last 6 or 7 minutes, Monaco showed how capable they are. I think it's down to the Tottenham midfield to get hold of the ball, to play at their pace, not the way that Monaco wants to play. And if it wasn't for some poor shooting, really, so, you know, poor effort straight at the Tottenham defence, and it wasn't as if it was brilliant defending because they were 3 or 4 yards off them, then they could easily be 1-0 up.
A bit of a shanked clearance from Gray allows Akliouche to bring it away down the right-hand side, tucks it in field for Koulibaly. But his attempted ball across midfield was ricocheted away by Palhinha, falls into the path of Kudus, who brings the ball over halfway, right-hand side, tucks it in field to Bentancur. And then he looked for Palhinha, but it was intercepted by Monaco, but it was at the expense of a throw to Spurs on the left-hand side, bang on halfway. Ajax are down to 10 men at Chelsea. It's still 0-0, but Kenneth Taylor, in fact, no, it is 1-0 to Chelsea. Marc Guiu has put Chelsea ahead on a rare start for him. So Kenneth Taylor off for Ajax. I don't think it's a penalty that's resulted, but Chelsea lead against Ajax by a goal to 0. Liverpool still 0-0 with Frankfurt. That's live on Talksport right now with Joe Shannon and Troy Deeney, your commentary team. If you've got the app, you can just swipe between Talksport and Talksport 2, dead easy. to keep up to date with both our live commentaries tonight across the network. Spurs at 0-0, coming forward left-hand side with Odobert. Lovely drop of the shoulder, tries to play it across the face of goal. Ricochets back to him and he plays it into the area, but it goes over the head of Richarlison, who's barely had a touch so far in these opening 18 minutes. 0-0.
Odobert as well, but that's exactly what you want your wingers to do. We talked about how Mo Kudus, it's almost all about him so far this season, certainly from an attacking point of view. Odobert, the left-hand side, well, that's very much up for grabs. Really direct, did well. The ball came back to him. It wasn't a bad cutback at all, a little dink to the far post. Mo Kudus has almost got to try and read that. He didn't, but much better from Spurs in the last minute or so.
This will be a long throw from Kevin Danso, left-hand side, into the near post, headed up and out by Diatta. Odobert just guides it back down for Danso, left-hand side, who gives it back to Odobert, down the left flank, faced up by Koulibaly. Works it to Gray, left-hand corner of the area, Bentancur, I beg your pardon. And now Odobert trying to twist and turn away from Koulibaly. Bentancur's still there. Porro's in space, 30 yards from goal. He's given the ball now, doesn't have the space now. He's being closed down by Balogun, so he floats the ball back out to Odobert, left-hand side, brings it down on his chest, faced up once again by Koulibaly, checks onto his right, chips it into the near post, and Van de Ven heads over, skimming the header at the near post, about a yard or two over the crossbar. Goal kick Monaco, 0-0.
Yeah, and I've been seeing the way that Spurs went from left to right, back to left again. That Van de Ven stayed in the box. He was thinking, I want this ball to come in. And in the end, again, it was Odobert who came in. Doesn't need to go past his defender. Just get half a yard and whip the ball in. Van de Ven so unlucky there. Another day that would have just flicked at the far post and gone in.
At the other end, Ansu Fati, a bit of communication breakdown between him and Diatta, stayed on his heels, Ansu Fati, when Diatta thought he was going to make a run down the area, and the ball just trickles over the dead ball line for a Spurs goal kick. 0-0 with 19 minutes gone. West Bromwich Albion lead at Watford in the Championship. Young Isaac Price scoring again. What a season he's having for the Baggies, who've won 2 of their last 3 after a bit of a stutter of late. Javi Gracia not enjoying the start to his second spell as Watford manager, having lost at Sheffield United at the weekend. Watford 0, West Brom 1 then. So goals in all the Championship games tonight so far. QPR leading, West Brom leading, Wrexham in front, and so are Middlesbrough at Sheffield Wednesday. And Swansea City are down to 10 men to compound the fact they're behind. Here's Mo Kudus for Tottenham Hotspur. Get to the right-hand corner of the area, works the ball in field to Japalinia. Odobert now has it again, left-hand side at the corner of the box. Gives it back to Archie Gray. Gray gets his head up and knocks the ball backwards to square to Mickey Van de Ven. Now it's out on the inside right channel with Porro. Steps inside Ouattara. Plays the ball into the box, trying to find the run of Richarlison with a bending ball, but not enough bend on the ball. And Kern, the keeper, can make a comfortable catch. 0-0.
Yeah, but what Spurs have done is they've kind of wrestled back control of the tempo of the game now. They've looked a lot more solid whenever Monaco have been on the ball and not open. And going forward, they've been able to get some balls into the box. Not quite good execution again there from Pedro Porro, but we've had that. We've had the Mickey Van de Ven header that just flicked over, so it's been better in the last few minutes.
Monaco 0, Tottenham 0. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. It's Malik Yalkouye who's been sent off for Swansea against QPR. QPR 1 up and a man up at the Swansea.com stadium. The Stade Louis II, we're approaching the midway point of the first half as Vicario hits a long ball downfield looking for the run of Kudus, but it's overhit, even for someone as willing as Kudus to make runs down the right-hand side, and Monaco get the goal kick. They've conceded a lot of goals lately, the French side. 14 conceded in their last 6 games. They've scored 12, but 5 of those 12 goals they've scored came against the bottom side Mets in 1 game. So they're not particularly prolific, but with a new manager, Pocognoli, maybe their fortunes will change. Van de Ven has just been nudged by Balogun. I wonder whether the whistle was going to go for a foul, but it did in the end. Just a little slight nudge, well actually more than a slight nudge, between the shoulder blades from Balogun on Van de Ven. Van de Ven went to ground and won the free kick. 0-0.
No, he's put his hand on his back. I'm not sure it's enough to, if he was going through on goal, that he would have gone up down. Well, maybe he would have gone to win a penalty, but clever from the defenders, no doubt about it. But it's a good battle, isn't it? Balogun, he's not as tall as Van de Ven, but you can already see doesn't mind sort of that one-on-one situation, although he's never really going to beat him for pace, but he's certainly up for the challenge, Balogun.
Another long ball from Vicario goes straight through to the goalkeeper, Kern, this time. Watford have equalised against West Brom as soon as they've gone behind Imran Louza. Makes it Watford 1, West Brom 1 at Vicarage Road. 23 minutes gone. 0-0. More live games, 3 live games for you tomorrow night across the network as we dip into the Europa League and the Conference League. Go ahead Eagles against Aston Villa at 5:45 here on Talksport 2, and then you've got a choice of listening at 8. Sean Dyche's first game in charge of Nottingham Forest is against FC Porto, and at the same time Crystal Palace in the Conference League taking on AEK Larnaca. That's on Talksport 2 at 8 p.m. And then we're into your Friday night of football from the Premier League and the Championship. We're going to have Leeds against West Ham, Talksport 8 o'clock Friday night. At the same time, Preston, whose unbeaten record at home went last night, will take on Sheffield United in a War of the Roses at 8 o'clock on Talksport 2. Here's Bentancur for Tottenham Hotspur, playing the ball up to Richarlison, starved of service so far, does well, holds off the attentions of Salisu and works the ball back into his own half. Danso under a bit of pressure from Ouattara down the left-hand side. In the end, Kudus just want to throw for Spurs. And the game's just got into a bit of a lull at this point, Scott Vinter.
Yeah, it has. I mean, to be fair to Monaco, they're pressing really well. The moment that a Spurs player gets on the ball, someone's going, and then they're all kind of trying to follow in. It's down to Spurs to try and find a bit of space, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Archie Gray got too much on the through ball. He was trying to find the run of either Bergvall or Richarlison. He got an anvil in his boot. It just went straight into the backside of a Monaco player, and the French side bring it away. It's with Enrique. Across to the right-hand side, and Thilo Kehrer. Back for Salisu. Now Enrique again, as Spurs start to press on from just inside the Monaco half, but then a push by Bentancur gives away a free kick to Monaco at midway point of their own half. They've taken it already. Slid up to Teza, just shy of the halfway line. He finds Ansu Fati, who just lets the ball run across his body. Makes the run down the inside left channel. Akliouche plays the ball out left to Ouattara. Fati picks it up again, little chip down the left side of the box, finds Akliouche, gets to the dead ball line, puts the crossover, and Vicario had to tip it away from right under his own crossbar. That was in danger of dropping into his net behind him. He had to get something on that from Akliouche's cross, which turned into a shot.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, it was going towards the back post, lobbing him. It may well have just hit the far post, but he had to be careful there. He had no idea. He tipped it out, and he could have tipped it in front of a Monaco player. In the end, it was straight at Archie Gray, who was able to clear. But again, Spurs need to be careful.
Good ball in field from Ouattara to find Balogun. Holds it up, and Fati takes over. Slides the ball in field to Teza, but back comes Richarlison. Good defending from Richarlison to help out his midfielders. But Monaco have it again. Akliouche finds Fati, heavy touch at the edge of the D. Allows Spurs to wrestle back control. Just another moment where Monaco are starting to believe in themselves a little bit more. Sometimes that happens with Champions League games. Can you believe that you can beat the opposition? I didn't think Villarreal felt last night they could beat Manchester City in the game we brought you. But Monaco, I think they've got a bit of gumption about them. As Eintracht Frankfurt take the lead against Liverpool. Over on Talksport, Rasmus Christensen makes it Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 0. Following that game over on Talksport right now with Troy Deeney alongside Joe Shannon.
You talk about this game here and the way sort of Spurs started well and Monaco come back into it. You almost thought it would have been the other way around. Monaco being at home, really trying to attack Spurs, and Spurs just kind of holding on and then showing their better quality, which is what they have. But no, it's Monaco very much on the front foot.
Akliouche, lovely ball through to Balogun. What a save from Vicario to keep it out from 8 yards out. Beautiful ball chipped over the top by Akliouche to get Balogun in behind. He looked just certain to score, but Vicario had other ideas. Van der Ven stayed down after trying to keep Balogun away from goal. Just collided with his, actually caught a boot in the face from his goalkeeper, I think, there Van der Ven, but what a chance for Monaco to take the lead, Scott Minto.
Well, we talked about how it's a good little battle between Van der Ven and Balogun, and in a sort of 50-yard sprint, no one's going to beat Van der Ven, but I tell you what, it was a little give and go. Lovely ball from Akliouche, just in behind Van der Ven, and then he has the chance. And look, Vicario has his critics, but that was a really, really good save.
23 years of age, Magnus Akliouche. He's an academy graduate at Monaco. Here comes Spurs on the counter-attack with Odobert moving into the centre of the Monaco half. Drops his shoulder to get away from his man. Chance for Richarlison. What a block from Diatta, coming back from right wing-back to stop the shot getting in on goal. Action at both ends of the Stade Louis II, but it stays 0-0.
But look, so much better from Spurs. That's what we want to see them do, just be a little bit direct, and if that means that they have to counter, so be it. They are the away side. Wilson Odobert showing a great bit of skill, 30 yards out. Looks like he's going towards the right. He cuts back towards the left. He plays in Richarlison. He takes the first touch, and they're just setting himself, and you're absolutely right. Two defenders coming at him. But it was brilliant tackle from Salisu, meaning his keeper didn't even have to make the save in the end. But that's what we want to see from Spurs, a little bit directness. Not seen enough of that. Monaco has been too slow-paced when they've got the ball, and therefore by the time they try to get into Monaco's half, there's not those opportunities, not those openings, whereas it was bang, Odobert straight, being direct a couple of times now. He looks like he's got the beating of anyone who's up against him. And Richarlison, he couldn't have done much more. That's just really good defending.
Yeah, Diatta has stayed down after he and Salisu went in to try and block that shot. Scott's dead right, it was Salisu that got the final touch on that Richarlison effort in the end. So no action at the moment as Diatta gets treatment. We're just seeing a replay of the delightful ball over the top from Akliouche to find Balogun. It wasn't a bad effort on goal from Balogun, got some power behind it, but a good stop from Vicario.
Do you know what, if that was the other way round, we'd be saying we wish that had gone in the net and that deserved the goal. It was a brilliant bit of play between the two of them. First of all, Balogun laid it off, and then you could see him spinning in behind Van der Ven. Brilliant first touch from Akliouche. Lovely little dink around. It's not easy to do because it meant that Van der Ven couldn't get there, but neither could Vicario. The first touch of Balogun was really good, but Vicario, because he came out so quickly, just smothered the shot. Great play from Monaco, but brilliant save from Vicario.
Chelsea are 2-0 up on Ajax. Remember, Ajax down to 10, and Moses Caicedo has scored Chelsea's second at Stamford Bridge. Diatta now just being led round the perimeter of the pitch. I think he'll be coming back on. Alexander Golovin is warming up. He's a left winger rather than the right wing back, Golovin, the Russian. But Diatta looks like he's going to be okay to continue. He's been allowed back on the field. So 11 against 11 it remains. And it's still 0-0 with half an hour gone on Talksport 2. And an intriguing half an hour, Scott Minto. It's hard to know which manager's going to be happier.
I mean, what I would say is you can't call it. I think all three scorelines are possible.
Here's Kudus for Tottenham, working the ball into the centre of the half. Here's Archie Gray finding Richarlison down the left-hand side of the box. He pulled it across the face of goal looking for Odobert, made the running side, but Salisu there with the no-nonsense clearance. Out it goes for a throw, 0-0.
I think, to be fair, the one thing we can say is surprising is 0-0. You know, both teams have had opportunities, or certainly look dangerous going forward. It's a really good 0-0. As I say, both teams will believe they can go on and win the game, but could easily end in a draw as well.
Danso with another long throw to come for Tottenham. 10 yards from the dead ball line, left-hand side. In he comes Danso. Throws it into the near post. It bounces over Van der Ven and past the keeper, but Richarlison couldn't quite latch onto it at the far post, and then driven over the bar speculatively by Pedro Porro, who is capable of the occasional rip snorter of a goal from distance, but the throw completely caught out the goalkeeper, and it bounced in the centre of the 6-yard box, but then away from Richarlison.
Well, you know, it's the new thing, isn't it? It's on vogue to get the long throws in. Kevin Danso can certainly throw it long, and no one got on the end of it, and Kern certainly didn't. Balogun's
on the charge down the left-hand side, forcing Vicario to come out of his goal for Spurs and clear it downfield. Chelsea 2, Ajax 1. Wout Weghorst. I I can't think of his name without thinking of Andy Jacobs, always calling him Cart Horse. But he's got the goal back for 10-man Ajax at Stamford Bridge.
I know Alex Cook is there at Stamford Bridge, and he wasn't very complimentary about him earlier.
It's not complimentary about anybody. Fatty might go for goal for Monaco from 30 yards out, but it was blocked by Mickey van der Ven and goes out of play for a Monaco throw. When have you ever heard Alex Crook being complimentary about anybody?
Well, that is true.
He might have made some begrudging compliment about Ruben Amorim on Sunday after they won at Liverpool.
I think he learned from calling Eric Ten Hag the little ball genius.
I'm still waiting for his next poem. Bayern Munich 3, Club Brugge 0. Luis Diaz gets the third for Bayern. Extension to Vincent Kompany's contract. Boy, is he enjoying life at the Allianz Arena, Vincent Kompany. Watford 1, West Brom 1. It's a half-time score in the Championship at Vicarage Road. Free kick for Tottenham Hotspur, worked back to Vicario, who's had a couple of things to deal with in this opening 33 minutes, notably that close-range effort from Balogun. There's a high press from Monaco. Spurs are trying to play around it. Danso has to go back to Vicario, who can control the ball, slow things down, because the press from Monaco does not start with the goalkeeper. They're happy for Vicario to have it, launch it downfield, looking for Kudus. Brings it down on his instep, neatly lays it off to Richarlison. Richarlison 30 yards from goal, gives it back to Kudus at the right-hand corner of the box, drops his shoulder and gets a shot in, but it's weak and it's comfortably dealt with by Kern in the Monaco goal, and stays goalless on Talksport 2.
Yeah, it's good defending in the end for Monaco. Not just 2, but 3 players around Mohamed Kudus, but that's what he can do. He's still able, yes, it was a weak shot, but still able to go past one of the players and get a shot in there, but just need to find a way to try and get him the ball where there's space on the counter-attack. As soon as Spurs win the ball, look out for him. Try and, if you can't hit him straight away, then at least get a pass to get another pass to him.
Oh, Palhinha did well to win the ball back for Spurs, and Odobert tried to send the ball in from the left-hand corner of the box. But Monaco get it away with Koulibaly. Trying to get Balogun in behind Van der Ven, with Spurs playing up to the halfway line, but the ball skipped away from both of them and through to Vicario. It had to be Hugo Ekitike, didn't it? On his old stomping ground, equalising for Liverpool at Eintracht Frankfurt. It's 1-1 over on Talksport. Ekitike equalising 10 minutes from half-time. 10 minutes from half-time here too.
Always play players against their old clubs. Whether it went well for them or whether it didn't, they'll try this that little bit harder.
Law of the X. Here come Monaco with Koulibaly. Finds Balogun again. What a save, Vicario! He was 10 yards out. Balogun hit it low, hard and true, and Vicario plunged to his left and got fingertips to it to turn it round the post for a Monaco corner. What a save!
Well, look, first of all, Lucas Bergvall lost the ball, but there's no other midfielders around him. They're far too open, so therefore just a couple of passes. And look, he's got to score from there, but what another save from Vicario. Diving to his left. He's 15 yards out, not even that, front of goal. You've got to hit the side netting, the inside of it. But still, that is a brilliant save, diving to his left, and a really strong hand.
But a corner to deal with as Enrique swings it in and headed over the bar. It's a goal kick in the end. It was Thilo Kehrer coming forward, trying to get something on it. Lucas Bergvall had a big chunk of his shirt as he rose, but couldn't get anything on it. And so another bit of danger passes for Thomas Frank and Tottenham Hotspur. 36.5 minutes gone. Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Wrexham 1, Oxford 0 is a half-time score. So too Swansea 0, QPR 1 in the Championship. Long ball downfield from Vicario, but dealt with again at the back by Monaco. Fati releases Diatta down the inside right channel, plenty to his left in red and white shirts, and Akliouche hugging the right-hand touchline, picks it up now, faced up by Archie Gray, rolls it back to Diatta, right-hand corner of the box, ball to the far post, attempted header on goal from Ouattara coming in from the left-hand side, but it was weak and straight at Vicario. 0-0.
But they're too open, Spurs. I mean, you just had a goal kick from Vicario, the two centre-half split. Monaco kind of dropped off and said, go on then, you can play, we're not going to press you. Vicario still went long, the ball was headed down, and there's so much space for Monaco to then win that second ball and go and counter-attack again. it's not good enough at the moment from a defensive point of view from Spurs.
Odobert for Tottenham Hotspur down the left-hand side. Gray on the overlap, uses him as a decoy and moves infield, plays the ball along the 18-yard line left to right for Pedro Porro, checks onto his left foot and gets caught between two schools of thought and just digs the ball straight out of play for a goal kick. Ian Danter and Scott Minto with you on Talksport 2. Thomas Frank chewing his gum as hard as I've ever seen him chew it as he contemplates this match situation. It's intriguingly poised at 0-0, but definitely Vicario the busier goalkeeper. Of that there is no doubt. And here comes Kudus trying to do something about that at the other end. Hits the ball against Enrique. Corner kick Tottenham as Liverpool have turned it around in Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 2. Virgil van Dijk with the second for the Red Men, 6 minutes from half-time, which is where we're at here on Talksport 2 at the Stade Louis II.
I reckon Thomas Frank's already gone through 2 packets of chewing gum with what he's seen so far after about the first 5 or 10 minutes. Not really been good enough, and be very thankful it's only 0-0.
But Spurs have a corner on the right-hand side. It'll be a left-footed in-swinger from Mohamed Kudus. And it comes now into the 6-yard box, punched away strongly by Kern, one back by Odobert, 25 yards out. Bergvall, right-hand corner of the area, digs the ball to the far post, header straight at the goalkeeper, but there was a push on a Monaco player before Danso got the header in, and it ends up being a free kick to the Ligue 1 side. Still 0-0 on Talksport 2 with 6 minutes to half-time.
Yeah, look, I mean, he has got, his hands up there, Danso, but it's just to try and leverage himself, really. I personally didn't think that was a foul, but it didn't really matter anyway because it was a header straight at Kern, but much better. Bergvall getting in the box, looking like he wanted to try and play the ball out to wide to Kudus, but he's dinked it towards the far post. Danso's got the header, he's ended up making the foul, but at least Spurs are starting to attack a little bit more.
Balogun, is he offside? Yeah, the flag has gone up as he tried to charge down the left-hand side.
And look, what Spurs need to do is, the best 2 players for them so far have been the 2 wide players. Get the ball out to Kudus and also to Odobert, to try and just leave them alone and see if they can get past their wingers and then get bodies into the box. Don't just rely on Richarlison. Obviously Bergvall's kind of playing that number 10 position, or the further forward out of the 3 central midfielders, so he's got to try and get into the box. And I said at the start of the game, I wonder if this is the perfect game for Xavi Simons, especially with him not playing well and wanting to play a bit more of a European game than Premier League game. I wonder if he might come on in the second half.
Thomas Frank was asked about Xavi Simons and his adjustment to English football and the comparison that was made with Florian Wirtz at Liverpool, and he thought that was in actual fact a relatively fair comparison to make because of the late adjustment coming in late on in the window, as Scott Minto has already mentioned. You're listening to Monaco 0, Tottenham 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. 5 minutes to half-time, Scott.
Yeah, I'm just looking at pictures of Thomas Frank. He's standing on the touchline, again chewing that gum. And the only thing really he'll be delighted with is the scoreline. First 10 minutes very good. Get the ball out to Kudus.
Takes the ball on his chest, wriggles away from a couple of challenges, clips the ball just beyond Odobert at the far post, as Odobert was waiting left-hand side of the area. But there, as Scott has already said, are the 2 men most likely for Tottenham Hotspur this evening, Kudus and Odobert. Odobert got away the first 20 seconds of the game and sent the ball across the face of goal. But Monaco have looked threatening at times, and following Balogun has been denied twice, quite brilliantly, by Vicario in this first half, if you're just tuning into our live coverage. Scything challenge from Palhinha, who is a bit of a walking yellow card. He was when he was at Fulham. I don't think much has changed since those days.
He made a wonderful tackle there, but it has to be perfectly timed. Did another one against Villa, didn't he, at the weekend? And that can get the crowd up as much as a great bit of skill and a wonderful cross.
Bergvall down the right for Tottenham. Early ball into the near post looking for Richarlison, and Teza has to turn it behind for a corner kick to Tottenham. I've got it in my mind that you never got booked. You're such a nice guy, Scott. Is this true?
No, it's not true. One sending off. Oh, that was under Graham Souness. I won't bore you with the story. Well, let's just say I got away because I apologised to him profusely. Karol Poborski, who was also at Benfica, he got sent off the same game. Let's just say he made the mistake of not apologising to Glenn.
Corner kick to Tottenham at 0-0. 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. Kudus to take another left-footed in-swinging corner at the end where the Spurs fans are gathered. Kudus goes deep to the far post this time. Danso heads over the bar. Well placed, couldn't get over the top of the ball. Goal kick, Monaco, 0-0.
It's a chance. It's absolutely a chance. This time, Kudus has put in some great corners, but this time he's gone to the far post. And that's a free header. It's an absolute free header. He's got to do better there. He's got to hit the target. If he hits the target, he's only 6 yards out. Unless he's straight at the keeper, keeper's got no chance. Well, I mean, how against the run of play would it be? But who cares? What a great moment it would have been to score just before half-time. 2 minutes to the break, plus whatever the Italian referee wants to add on. It's been 1 or 2 stoppages. Diatta getting treatment. Might add on a couple of minutes at the end of the half. In the centre circle, Teza for Monaco. Gets a second bite of the ball. Little clip from Akliouche. Gets it back from Koulibaly and drifts away to the right-hand side for the hosts. Looks very, very confident in possession, Magnez Akliouche. As I mentioned, an academy graduate at Monaco. Now a bit of space for Koulibaly down the right-hand side of the area. Drills the ball into the near post, but headed away by Van der Ven. Richarlison deep picks it up. Plays it out to the right-hand side for Kudus inside his own half, and he will guide it back for his right-back, Porro. And further backwards a square to Danso inside the 18-yard line. Little Cruyff turn to get away, at least for a short time anyway, from Balogun. And then Vicario slides it back out to Porro in the right-back position. Plays it along the deck, up the line to Kudus. Tried to work the ball back in field for his teammate, but Monaco have won it back. Ansu Fati finds Balogun, tries to turn. Akliouche gets in his way, drops for Koulibaly. Akliouche again brings it down at the edge of the D wall. He's tried to, but dropping over his shoulder, brought away. And then there's a free kick. Goals going in. Well, Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 3 now, as Ibrahima Konate comes up from the back to get a goal. And Enzo Fernandez makes it Chelsea 3, Ajax 1 at Stamford Bridge. So the other 2 games, they're the goal picks. Yeah.
We'll wait for the breakthrough as we move into 2 minutes of minimum added time.
It might be, as the game goes on like this, that 1 goal wins it.
Yeah.
And that's where you need that little bit of magic.
Oh, little nutmeg from Porro on Ouattara, and a delicious crossfield ball for Ouattara, but his first touch takes it out and plays straight away for a goal kick. That's a shame, because the ball across from Pedro Porro, having nutmegged Ouattara, was just delicious. But the first touch, that was like my sort of first touch from Wilson Odobert. Goal kick, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a shame, because that first touch would have taken him into the box, and then any defender will tell you, you've got to be careful, you've got to stay on your feet. He's already shown he's gone past his, call him wing back, call him the right side centre half, whoever's coming to engage first and foremost. It's gone past both of them at different times. That was a great opportunity again just before half time.
Philip Kern played 6 out of the 8 league games this season in goal for Monaco, clears it downfield, won't quite break for Richarlison in the centre circle. Enrique plays the ball forward to Balogun, laid it off well, he got caught late as well. It will be a free kick to Monaco. This will probably be the last action of the first half, midway point of the Tottenham half, for the foul on following Balogun. Half time at Hillsborough. It is Sheffield Wednesday 0, Middlesbrough 1. And Bayern Munich 3, Bruges 0 is a half time score as well. Free kick played out to the right hand side for Diatta. Now work back in field for Salisu at the edge of the centre circle. Enrique just to his left. Takes the game down to walking pace for a moment. Short pass into Ansu Fati. Akliouche, ever willing, drifting out to the left-hand side now. And the referee has the whistle to his lips and blows for half-time. It is 0-0 in the Stade Louis II, but it's not been for the want of trying, particularly from the hosts AS Monaco, who have brought 2 fine saves out of Vicario in the Spurs goal in this first half. Both efforts from Following Balogun brought into the Monaco side tonight. The former Arsenal man saw one shot blocked after a lovely 1-2 with Akliouche, and then A ball played through to him inside the area. It looked like he was going to bury it in the bottom corner, but Vicario had other ideas and somehow tipped it round the post for a corner which came to nothing. Spurs' best chance probably came from a late corner in the first half that Kevin Danso should have done better with, but he headed well over, went free at the far post. But the half-time score is AS Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Scott Minto, your thoughts?
Well, I think it's one of those where Spurs started really well in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but you talked about belief, and it almost was one of those things where, you know, this big team from the Premier League coming over here to our place, are we good enough? And then they realised they were, and from then on it's been really all Monaco. You know, you talk about those two saves, two brilliant saves from Vicario. Could easily be 2-0 down. So Thomas Frank, one, to be delighted it's only 0-0, but two, he has to make some kind of changes, whether it's a different type of style of playing, making themselves more compact when they without the ball and trying to counter-attack themselves than just being open, or actually making substitutions as well. But you know, that if the second half goes like the first, I said about how Spurs should come away with all 3 points, let alone one. Well, they won't come away with any.
No, and following Balogun, the former Arsenal manager, enjoyed himself out there tonight. He has been the physical presence that I think Sebastian Poglignoli wanted, and he's tried to get him behind a few times as well. They have tried to find him early on occasions and break that Spurs defensive line that's pushed up.
He's got him behind, you know, and I talked about how no one's going to beat Van der Ven in a sort of 40-50 yard race, but football's not always about that. It's about the little 1-2. The 1-2 he did with Akliouche was the perfect example, and brilliant forward play and kind of number 10 play as well, where he just laid it off, he span in behind, great first touch from Akliouche, wonderful little weighted pass, great first touch then, who'd already got him behind Van der Ven from Balogun, and there's no doubt about it, Vicario, well, he's got his critics, and I wouldn't say he's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. Certainly it does make mistakes, but tonight he has kept Tottenham Hotspur in this game.
And so the half-time score here is Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 on Talksport 2 in the Champions League. Very shortly you'll be hearing from Sean Dyche and Oliver Glasner, whose teams are in action in the Europa League and the Europa Conference League tomorrow night across the Talksport network. And in a few short moments I'll run you through all the latest scores from the Champions League and the EFL this Wednesday evening.
Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Two champions lie in wait. Who will earn the shot at Undisputed? It's all or nothing. Parker versus Wardley. October 25th. Watch only on DAZN.
As a small business owner, you've got to be ready for the ups and the downs. Ready to think on your feet, ready to be rushed off your feet, ready to make the big decisions and make the tea. 2 sugars in mine? Ta. Ready to be there for your customers whenever they need you. Well, ditto. Virgin Media Broadband's ready for anything business can throw at it. Yeah, it's business ready broadband. Search Virgin Media Business Broadband.
Claim approved. Direct Line's ready to send my new laptop within 2 hours. That's how it's done. Imagine if that's how everything got done. Like teaching little Johnny to play his recorder. Oh my. That's my boy!
Direct Line. That's how it's done.
Theft and accidental loss claims up to £3,000. Cover limits apply. Personal possessions cover needed for items outside the home.
At Wix, we can help you get the job done. Get what you need, picked and ready in as little as 15 minutes with Click and Collect. And right now, save on quality kitchens, timber, doors and more in the big event. Shop the big event in-store or online. Terms apply.
Imagine a delicious patty nestled between 2 buns with cheese and ketchup. It's not a burger. That patty is actually sausage, which makes this a sandwich. A breakfast sausage sandwich. The new $1.99 sausage sandwich from McDonald's. Made with RSPCA assured pork. Until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Upcharges and fees apply to delivery. Subject to availability.
Ultimate Sports Radio.
What a moment!
This is Talksport 2.
This Saturday, game day is go with live Championship football on Talksport 2.
Coventry take on Watford.
Breathtaking build-up begins at 12 noon.
With adrenaline-inducing full-match commentary from 12:30.
It's a stellar Saturday of live and exclusive Championship football
on Talksport 2.
It could be the turn or the pitch of a ball, a direct hit on the stumps or an umpire's close call. The breakthrough wicket that fires up the crowd's hope or a breathtaking catch on the boundary rope. These are the moments in which fortunes compete to snatch glorious victory from the jaws of defeat. This month, Talksport 2 will bring you live exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of England's Ashes warm-up series against New Zealand.
Harry Brook,
wow! Continues with the third and final T20 match live from Auckland tomorrow morning from 7, exclusively on Talksport 2.
The Social, tomorrow afternoon from 3 on Talksport 2. An in-depth look at the biggest sports stories.
Bit of boxing, bit of horse racing, even a bit of rugby.
And it's a try!
And some phenomenal guests. If you can't get in this squad after showing the form he showed, I don't think it looks too good for him. This is the place to be.
It's The Social on Talksport 2.
Oh, that's a beauty, that's a ripper.
The Social,
tomorrow afternoon from 3.
It just works, doesn't it? On Talksport 2.
The passion, the pain, and the poetry of the beautiful game.
Overhead kick, brilliant goal!
The Champions League live on Talksport 2.
We are underway on Talksport 2. Monaco in their traditional red and white, Spurs in the all-black strip tonight. Fatty picks it up again, a little chip down the left side of the box, finds Akliouche, gets to the dead ball line, puts the crossover, and Vicario had to tip it away from right under his own crossbar.
It's Monaco very much on the front foot.
Akliouche, lovely ball through to Balogun. What a save from Vicario to keep it out from 8 yards out.
Lovely ball from Akliouche, just in behind Van der Ven. And then he has the chance, and look, Vicario has his critics, but that was a really, really good save.
Here come Monaco with Koulibaly, finds Balogun again. What a save, Vicario! He was 10 yards out. Balogun hits it low, hard and true, and Vicario plunged to his left and got fingertips to it to turn it round the post.
That is a brilliant save, diving to his left, and a really strong hand.
Talksport 2 bringing you Champions League live this Wednesday evening. Ian Danter and Scott Minto. It is Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 at the break. But Monaco have come close, as you just heard from the best moments of the first half there. Let me run you through the scorelines elsewhere in the Champions League. In the early games, Athletic Bilbao beat Karabakh by 3-1. Same scoreline as Galatasaray beat Bodo Glimt as well. Half times in the other 8 o'clock kickoffs tonight. Atalanta 0, Slavia Prague 0. Bayern Munich 3, Club Brugge 0. Chelsea 4, 10-man Ajax 1. Estevao scored a late penalty at the end of the first half. Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 3. That's live on Talksport right now. Hugo Ekitike getting the equalising goal after Frankfurt had taken the lead. Real Madrid 0, Juventus 0 at the Bernabeu, and Sporting 0, 10-man Marseille 1 at the break. And in the EFL, these games are all into the second, well, 3 of them are into the second half. Swansea 0, QPR 1, Swansea down to 10 men. Watford 1, West Brom 1, Wrexham 1, Oxford 0, and half-time at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Middlesbrough 1. So you're up to date with all the scores elsewhere. And the European football action continues tomorrow evening on the TalkSport network, with action from the Europa League and Europa Conference League too. Over on TalkSport, what a night at the City Ground in store. Sean Dyche makes his debut in the dugout for Nottingham Forest as they face Porto by the banks of the Trent. The new Forest boss feels it would just take a few positive results to turn the mood of the football club right around.
I've learned about the players, obviously. There's a few new signings. Some of the other players I've known, obviously, from the last couple of seasons. A few new signings. You know, it's different when you're watching a game analytically than when you actually work with players. You know, there's some players who you think weren't as good as they are, and then they are better, often. And the other way around. It can be like that when you're working up close and personal with them. What we've noticed so far, I think the quality here, I think there is a good spirit amongst them. It's maybe just been pressed down a little bit by all the noise and then won games. Let's face it, winning doesn't cure everything, but it goes a long way to making that feel-good factor for everyone concerned. And some of the things that feel quite big when you're winning feel smaller. And I think it enhances it if you're not. So I think trying to sort of take that feeling away as much as anything and sort of say, look, player, to the players, there's some real quality here. That's what I've noticed. I was explaining on our own TV yesterday that, I've got a longer history with the club from an apprentice, which some people might know or they don't, from 87 to 90, apprentice, young pro. And, you never think when you start off in them days, all I wanted to do was play in the first team. You're walking down the river with Del Boy running past you and the voice of Brian Clough in earshot, let's much thinking it's a yes before you speak to them, but things still have to be right, they're nowadays contracts and all that, but no, it's not about that, it's not about the past, I'm sure you'll know, I don't question the manager, everyone has their own style, it's not an easy job. The club made a decision and now it's for me to try and imprint my way of working and hopefully a successful way of working on the club, and that's my focus now.
Sean Dyche along with Ian Woan and Steve Stone, the coaching staff, back on their old stomping ground. Nottingham Forest against Porto is live on Talksport tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Natalie Sawyer hosting. Jim Proudfoot and the former Liverpool midfielder Charlie Adam will be your commentary team. Whilst here on Talksport 2, we've got a double header tomorrow. From 5:45, live commentary of Aston Villa's trip to the Netherlands to face Go Ahead Eagles. Before we head to Selhurst Park for Conference League action, Crystal Palace taking on AEK Larnaca from 8 p.m. And the Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner feels that tomorrow's match is a great opportunity for his side to edge a step closer to the knockout round of this competition.
We want to qualify straight for the round of last 16, and therefore we have to be on our top level. Larnaca won 4-0 against Alkmaar. Even Alkmaar had a red card after 2 minutes, but winning 4-0 against AZ Alkmaar, who won just at Ajax Amsterdam, just shows the kind of quality, and therefore we need to be on our top level, and then it's looking who is available, who is fit, who is in the best shape, and then nominating the team.
So that game is an 8 o'clock kickoff at Selhurst, live on Talksport 2 as Palace take on AEK Larnaca. Alex Crook and former Palace midfielder Darren Ambrose will be your commentary team for that one. You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it, book now at enterprise.co.uk. The third ODI between England and New Zealand tomorrow morning from 7 o'clock as well here on Talksport 2 ahead of the Ashes to come this winter. And not forgetting a bit of NFL action as well. Early hours of Friday morning, we'll be off to Los Angeles, Minnesota at the LA Chargers in these early weeks of the NFL season. And we've also got live action from the NFL Sunday afternoon from 4 p.m. The San Francisco 49ers at the Houston Texans. Back at the Stade Louis II, a few players have been warming up for Monaco at half-time, notably Takumi Minamino caught my eye, once of Liverpool, who is amongst the substitutes, but the Spurs players are just making their way from the tunnel towards the playing surface. We'll have to wait and see whether there have been any changes made by Thomas Frank at the break, as thought about by Scott Minto, wondering whether Xavi Simons might get an opportunity, but can't see anybody stripped and ready for action that wasn't there in the first half. But Monaco acquitted themselves more than well, but Spurs have scored in 17 of their last 18 European fixtures. Remember, they were on such a great run, winning the Europa League under Ange Postecoglou last season. Only lost 2 of their last 12 matches in a group stage format of the Champions League, winning 7 and drawing 3, unbeaten in 6 going into this one. But this has been a test for them tonight so far. But the players are now emerging from the tunnel, and we'll get the second half underway for you very, very shortly. Thomas Frank just having a half-time banana, holding on to his notepad. He looks like the sort of guy, he could still play probably, Thomas Frank. He looks like he's still at his fighting weight. Mind you, so do you, Scott Minto, in fairness.
That's very kind of you to say.
You don't know what to say to that, do you?
I can definitely confirm that I cannot play anymore.
Well, Spurs have still got to play FC Copenhagen, so Thomas Frank will welcome Danish opposition to London in the next Champions League encounter, and then away at Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, if you look at the games that they've got, obviously Copenhagen at home you'd expect to win, and then PSG away.
Yeah.
You've got Slavia Prague at home, again should be winning that one, but Dortmund at home would be difficult, and Eintracht Frankfurt away, that's going to be tough. So, you know, I'm sort of thinking, I'm coming into this game, Monaco away, Copenhagen at home, want to try and get 6 points to get those points on the board, get the confidence. It's going to be difficult, the 3 of the last 4 for sure. They've got to step it up a lot more in the second half than they did in the first.
Underway at the Stade Louis II at the start of the second half. 0-0 and no changes at the break. So for Monaco, Kern is the goalkeeper, Kehrer, Salisu, Enrique in the back 3, Diatta, Teza, Koulibaly and Ouattara in midfield, Akliouche and Fati supporting Balogun in attack. For Spurs, Vicario the keeper, Porro, Danso, Van de Ven, Gray, Palhinha, Bentancur, Bergval, Kudus, Odobert, Richarlison. Spurs in their change strip of the all-black shirts, shorts and socks. Monaco in their traditional red and white diagonal halves. As Balogun tries to get his head to the ball, midway point at the Tottenham half. Porro heads clear, only onto the chest of Akliouche, and tried to lob it out to the left-hand side for Ouattara. And then, there's a clash as Richarlison went up with a high boot. He's going to get booked for that challenge. He's left Salisu lying prostrate on the floor. Accidental from Richarlison, but he's going to get a yellow card for it anyway. 0-0.
Well, I don't know how much contact he actually made, and Salisu certainly is making more of it than I think it is. I mean, I don't even think he's got his foot as high as his head, and he's holding his head. The angle, he may just have caught him. But I just don't think it's a challenge he needs to make with Richarlison. He's not going to get there. Yeah, try and put him under a little bit of pressure, but don't stick your foot up. You know, in English football, let alone European football, unless you bring that ball down, which he was never going to, if he makes contact, not only is it a foul, it's a yellow card. So just a foul he didn't need to make.
Salisu didn't get treatment in the end, didn't need it. Spent 3 years at Southampton, Mohamed Salisu, before coming to Monaco.
Still can't work out if he didn't actually make contact. He got up pretty quickly, didn't he? But
he'll tell you he did. I'm sure he'll tell you he did. Watford have turned it around. Meantime, in the Championship, Watford 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. West Brom led, but Rocco Vata has put Watford in front at Vicarage Road. Their first defeat in 4 against Sheffield United on Saturday. We've got more Championship action coming up for you on Talksport 2. Friday and Saturday, Preston, Sheffield United Friday night, and then we've got 2 games for you on Saturday. Coventry, the league leaders, at home to Watford at 12:30, and I'll be at the Den for Millwall against Leicester at 3 o'clock. Millwall 3rd in the table after their terrific win against Stoke City last night. 0-0 in Monaco with 3 minutes gone in the second half. Archie Gray at left back for Tottenham Hotspur tonight. Gives it back to Jean Palhinha. Danso now flicks the ball out to Porro, gets over the halfway line. Little run from the inside right from Bentancur, but he couldn't find him. Or could have sort of bisected the two with the ball he played there, did Porro. But it comes the way of Mohamed Kudus on the right-hand side. Look at that outpace Enrique. Gets the ball in right-footed, but Salisu can bring the ball down and lob it clear for Monaco.
Yeah, every time Kudus gets the ball, it's not just one, but 2 defenders around him. But he did really well trying to get out round the outside. But he wasn't able to, by the time he was about to put the cross in, get real composure on his right foot to put a decent cross in. But at least he's being more direct. We talked about him and Odobert in the first half. Look very, very dangerous if they're able to get the ball early. And that's something the Tottenham midfield need to do. We're far too open from a defensive point of view. It's only been really Paulinho who's been sitting in. Bentancur quite often has been pushing forward, and Bergval has almost been playing like a second striker. The problem with that is when you lose the ball, you're so open. You need to be a lot more compact in the second half.
It's the thoughts of Scott Minto alongside me on commentary as Richarlison tries a dummy on halfway as the ball was played into his feet. It didn't quite come off for him. It was cleared downfield, but Monaco lose out. Kudus tries to turn on what a challenge Koulibaly to just snaffle the ball away from him inside the Monaco half. Teza finds Akliouche, fleet of foot in the centre circle. Now it's worked out to Diatta, right hand side, level with the 18-yard line. Support from Fati, lovely ball down the right side of the box for Akliouche, plays a dummy, goes for goal at the near post, and Vicario had to be smartly down to his left to make the save. 0-0.
He's good, isn't he? He's really good. Find their little pockets of space, this time just running in behind Paulinho. By the time he got the ball, Paulinho's stretching, so he shaped a shoot on his right. Paulinho's gone to ground, but he's come back onto his left. And to be fair, Paulinho got up very, very quickly, but Akliouche had a chance there to get real good contact on the ball and give Vicario no chance. But again, he was dangerous in the first half. He's dangerous in the second.
I think he was trying to give Vicario the eyes there. I don't think he was making it look like he was shaping to shoot with his left. But Vicario did well down at his near post. Stays 0-0 on Talksport 2. 5 minutes gone in the second half. Don't forget, we've got live boxing for you on Saturday as well. Josie Parker and Fabio Wardley facing off for the WBO interim title from the O2 Arena. 7:30 on the Talksport network. Here's Wilson Odobert coming forward for Tottenham, winning a corner. Just dropped his shoulder, got inside the area left-hand side and tried a dipping shot that was deflected over the bar by Jordan Teza. Corner kick to Tottenham, 0-0.
Yeah, and Teza's helped his fullback out. Area there for sure, and the way that Odobert's come in, it's poor defending allowing him to come inside, and if Teza hadn't have come across, I'm pretty sure inside the box on his right foot with the goal opened up that he would have hit the target and he would have given Kern no chance whatsoever. So good defending there from Teza in the end, but better from Spurs.
The last corner that Spurs had towards the end of the first half presented Kevin Danso with a free header at the far post. Where's this Kudus corner going? Left-footed in swing. It goes deep to the far post, beyond the far post. And in fact, there was a push on Philip Kern, the goalkeeper, as he lies face down in the turf in his own 6-yard box, spotted by the Italian referee, Mr. Guida, and it's a free kick to Monaco. Just an accidental clash between him and Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven didn't know much about the fact that the goalkeeper was there.
It's never been a foul. If anything, Kern has got into Van der Ven and then just gone down. It's never a foul. Protected species.
Let me cheer you up. Chelsea 5, Ajax 1.
Okay.
Tyreek George gets the 5th for Chelsea against 10-man Ajax. Here's Akliouche for Monaco. Plays it up to halfway to Ouattara. And then, just quick feet on the far touchline. And then he plays a first-time ball to try and get Balogun away down the left-hand side. But that's really good defending by Mickey van der Ven, and he draws the foul from Ouattara. But Magnus Akliouche looks a real talent for Monaco every time he gets on the ball.
Well, look, it may be tax-free here in Monaco, but I think within the next year or two he's going to be earning somewhere. He's going to be where he's going to have to pay a little bit of tax, because I imagine one of the big boys of Europe are going to come and get him.
He won his first French caps this year.
Yeah.
And he's already made over 100 appearances for Monaco at the age of just 23. 18 goals to his name as well. Not bad talent at all. Here's Pedro Porro for Tottenham. 8 minutes gone, second half, 0-0. Kudus, far right-hand side, with Spurs playing from right to left as we look in there. Chain strip of all black. Van der Ven, the captain, inside the centre circle, just trots forward, plays a square ball to his left for Archie Gray. Gray's got Odobert for support on this near touchline, but Gray moves infield into the feet of Richarlison. Heavy touch, trying to give it back to Gray. Free kick's been awarded for a challenge on Richarlison by Koulibaly, and this is position A for a right-footed strike at goal from about 25 yards out for Tottenham Hotspur. 0-0.
Absolutely, just a little bit on the left, which allows the right footer to either whip it into the near post or go to the far post for sure. And look, it's been a good week in the Champions League so far from the English boys, and we do want Spurs to make it a win as well. Not an easy place to come, of course, but I was expecting at the start of the season, I'll start the game, and of course we talk about a new manager in place, which means that it hasn't been a great season for Monaco. And this is a great opportunity to get that first goal.
Conversation between Kudus and Porro standing over the ball, and now Porro places the ball down. I think he fancies this. Just the full back. It does favour the right-footed drive. Diatta is going to get to his feet in a minute. He is claiming he needs a bit of treatment.
I hope the ref just says no, get out. No, he hasn't.
On come the physios. And if Spurs don't get the win here tonight, then I get a funny feeling that Dean Saunders is going to be poking Jamie O'Hara with sticks on the sports bar. That's coming up after 10 o'clock over on Talksport tonight. 03717 22 33 44. Liverpool are 3-1 up in Frankfurt tonight. That's live on Talksport right now.
I was just about to say, especially if Liverpool do get the win, Dino's going to be even more on Jamie.
Unbearable, I think would be the word. Wrexham still 1-0 up against Oxford in the Championship, but Callum Doyle has been sent off of the Dragons. They've probably got about 20 minutes to hold out there. So Diatta's being led behind the goal, having had treatment, and Spurs can finally contemplate this free kick chance they've got. 25 yards from goal to the left of centre. Pedro Porro has been eyeing this. There's a draft excluder behind the wall. I think it's Ansu Fati that's got that horrible job. 5-man wall just ahead of him. Keeper jigging up and down on his goal line. Pedro Porro then for Spurs. Hits it straight into the wall, and then Salisu gets it clear. Might be a counter-attack on, but that's a great challenge from Odobert just inside the Monaco half. And Vicario, poor ball out to the left-hand side, and now Ouattara outpacing Palhinha, tries to get the cross in. Good challenge from Palhinha, and it's a goal kick in the end because he hit it against Ouattara when Ouattara wanted a corner. 0-0 it stays, with just over 10 minutes gone in the second half on Talksport 2.
Yeah, we've seen Palhinha, he loves those sliding tackles, doesn't he? And in today's game, again, it has to be inch perfect, and it was. Ouattara had the pace on him, but he just timed it perfectly in the end. And I wonder whether Thomas Frank would make substitutions, but no, it's Monaco who are going to make the subs.
And I mentioned Alexander Golovin, who was warming up in the first half when Diatta got his first injury. Well, he's coming on to replace Diatta. So Golovin, 29 years of age, wearing the number 10 for Monaco. Just going straight onto that right-hand side, is he? Looks like he has gone into the centre of midfield, actually, for the moment. Getting possession now. Drifting out to the left. Trying to play the ball forward to Balogun, who went to ground under pressure from Danso. Bit of a rejig for Monaco then. We'll try and pick the bones out of that in just a moment with Scott Minto. Now that change has been made. Here's Teza. Looks like he's playing on the right-hand side, Jordan Teza, who was central before that change was made. Trying to get the better of Bergvall on this near side. The Monaco right there wrestling for possession. Still Teza has it. Hits it against Archie Graham. Wins a throw down by the corner flag for Monaco. 0-0.
Yeah, you're right. Teza's gone out wide. He's not your typical winger, but he has got good ball control, and he's strong as well. Whereas Golovin has gone into the middle. Have to see how that affects Spurs, who, again, just like the second half, I think have been too open on the counter-attack.
Deadlock broken in the Bernabeu. Real Madrid 1, Juventus 0. Jude Bellingham scores for Real.
Thomas Tuchel watching?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, so much nonsense has been made of that story. He'll be in the next squad. Mark my words. That's not even the question for me. Diagonal ball played into the box for Monaco. Flicked on by Balogun. He just got ahead of Van de Ven, but couldn't really get any purchase on the header, so it just floated through to Vicario. And there are changes being readied, and we are going to see Xavi Simons sooner rather than later. Scott Minto, the soothsayer. I think Pap Sarr's coming on as well for Spurs.
I just think it's been a bit of a meh performance, isn't it, from Spurs? They're not really being proactive. If anything, if any team looks like scoring, it looks like it's going to be Monaco. Bergvall hasn't really dominated or got too much in to the game as that almost number 10 position. So why not get Xavi Simons in?
Kudus, right-hand corner of the area, can't get past Golovin. And then Golovin puts it out of play for a throw. Does that signal the double change? Because it is Papsar who's being readied as well. Let's see whether Bergvall is one of the players coming off. And indeed it is Lucas Bergvall that will make way. That's one of the changes. Bentancur is the other coming off. So Sarr and Simons being introduced by Thomas Frank to pep up the Tottenham midfield and attack with an hour gone at the Stade Louis II. Still goalless on Talksport 2. And no real gilt-edged chances to speak of for either side in this opening quarter of an hour since the restart.
In one way, it's a bit like the Villa game at the weekend now, where in the second half, I mean, Spurs, I thought at the start of the second half were the better team, but it almost just needed one bit of brilliance, really, because both teams were just cancelling each other out. And I think tonight's going to be the same.
Long throw, Kevin Danso hurls it in from the right-hand side, headed away by Kehrer, but comes back out to Danso in the right-wing position. Plays a decent ball in, lofted high. Keeper comes and gets nowhere near it, but he's bailed out by his defenders. Anywhere will do for Monaco. Goalkeeper Kern got absolutely nowhere near that ball back into the box from Danso, but it just wouldn't fall for a Spurs shirt. 0-0 it stays.
Yeah, he tried to get the long throw, it came back to him, he's whipped the ball in. Van der Ven again did nothing wrong, the keeper's come out. You can't claim there's a foul there. He's definitely vulnerable on those long crosses or balls into the box.
Everyone's got a long throw, and apparently that's not allowed, according to some managers. You're not allowed to have a long throw or not tell your opposition manager how you're setting up. Apparently that's not fair. Here's Spurs in possession with Odobert. Finds Kudus, has to lay it off because he's under pressure to find Sarr. Sarr is just clipped by Golovin and wins a free kick next to the centre circle. 0-0.
Another crunching tackle, wasn't it, as he went to ground from Paulinho. I mean, he really does have to time these well, but generally speaking he does, which shows why the stats look good in him in terms of winning tackles and interceptions. Why he is one of the best midfielders in that role in the Premier League.
On loan from Bayern Munich, who are comfortably ahead tonight in their Champions League encounter against Club Brugge, 3-0 up at half-time. I don't think it's been any further score. Spurs have a throw on halfway at 0-0. Archie Gray trying to muscle down the left-hand side, but cleared away by Teza. Tucked infield by Kehrer for Enrique. He will work it out to the left-hand side. And Ouattara. Ball played up to halfway and Golovin. Ouattara once more, faced up by Kudus again, just making sure he gets goal side and inside his own half. For a bit of protection for Porro behind him. Certainly not John O'Shea, Cristiano Ronaldo. I remember with John O'Shea saying, come on, help me out one day. I think it was a game at Fulham where Ronaldo had no interest in getting back to help out his right-sided full-back. Enrique finds Golovin, just drops his shoulder for a minute, gets away from Richarlison, down the left-hand side for Ouattara, who tries to fire a cross in. Porro gets a touch. Can he prevent the corner? Yes, he can. Finds Kudus, oh, lovely flick in field to give it to Richarlison, tries to give it back to Kudus, but Enrique puts it out of play for a throw, but lovely play in a tight area from Tottenham Hotspur. 0-0.
Yeah, lovely play in a tight area from Mohamed Kudus. I just feel that Richarlison just should have ran with it a little bit more, because you could see that Enrique was dropping off quickly and Kudus needed time to try and catch up with him and then play the ball in behind for him to catch on and get the ball. But yeah, just got to try and get Tottenham wide players involved a bit more. And Xavi Simons now is on the bench. Now he's on the pitch.
You might be seeing Randolph Kona Moani, World Cup winner, before too long.
Why not? I mean, nothing's happening. Spurs aren't really creating any opportunities at the moment. Richarlison's had an hour. He's worked hard, but just not really happened for him. So just ask the Monaco defence some different questions from a different player.
Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Akliouche tries to win a corner. Actually a throw. It came out of Archie Gray and went just the one side of the corner flag on the far right-hand side, just down to our right. So chance for a long throw into the box maybe from Monaco, but Teza takes it short, gets it back from Thilo Kehrer. Kehrer once more has it. Right-hand side, midway point of the Spurs half, works it back into square to Salisu. Enrique, diagonal ball looking for Teza. He's got a bit of space, brings it down on his chest. Almost level with the 18-yard line. Lovely ball. Akliouche pulls it back to around the penalty spot, but he can only find Jean Polinia, who just chops it clear. But it doesn't go out of play. Ouattara keeps it in. Left-hand side. Tries to play a 1-2 with Golovin. Doesn't quite come off, but Monaco have kept possession. Golovin once more. Looks for Ouattara down the left-hand side of the area. Feints to cross, gives it back to Golovin. Chips to the far post. Headed up in the air by Gray. Headed further cleared by Odobert, and Monaco asking questions here at 0-0.
Yes, that Akliouche always just going in behind. As the Spurs player goes down, Odobert is saying his hip, but just try and slow the game down a little bit, because again, Monaco looking the more dangerous of the two sides, and the substitutions for Thomas Frank haven't really worked at the moment, so he needs to think about what he's going to do. Does he try and keep on and play for 0-0, or does he try and go for it? At this moment in time, he'd take 0-0.
Well, Wilson Odobert is down for the moment. He's pointing to his side, left-hand side, maybe a bit of a muscle strain down by his waist. And the physios are on to give him a little bit of treatment. So a reminder of what's going on elsewhere tonight. QPR 1-0 up still at 10-man Swansea. Watford have turned it around. They're 2-1 up against West Brom in the Championship. Wrexham are down to 10 men, but they still lead Oxford by a goal, 2-0 at the racecourse. And in the 8 o'clock game, Middlesbrough trying to keep pace with Coventry at the top of the table. They lead 1-0 at Sheffield Wednesday and will go a point behind the league leaders if things stay as they are. In the Champions League, still no goals. Atalanta Slavia Prague. Bayern Munich 3 up against Club Brugge. Chelsea 5-1 up against Ajax. Liverpool over on Talksport 3-1 up at Eintracht Frankfurt. Real Madrid leading Juve by a goal to 0, and Sporting 0, 10-man Marseille 1. Wilson Odobert looks like he's set to come back onto the field. Indeed he is. But Monaco have possession. Golovin in the centre of the Spurs half. Chips the ball down the right-hand side of the box. Lovely first touch from Teza. Rolls his man, pulls it across the face of goal, but can't find Balogun. It's half cleared, comes back to Koulibaly at the edge of the D, finds Golovin, tries to place it in the bottom corner, and Vicario flies to his left and has to make another good save. Corner to Monaco midway through the second half.
Yeah, Spurs just so passive without the ball, and they're not getting tight enough on the edge of the box. Golovin just tries to pass it into the net. It's a save that Vicario should be making, but he is diving to his left. And as I say, I think it's one of those games where at this moment in time Thomas Frank will take 0-0 because very much on the back foot.
Enrique with this latest corner for Monaco, plays it to the edge of the area, volley goalwards by Teza, and it's cleared away, half cleared. Ansu Fati, left hand corner of the box, clips it across, headed just wide. Chance for Thilo Kehrer from around the penalty spot, glanced it just the wrong side of the post for Monaco, and Spurs escape again, 0-0.
I tell you what, he was absolutely stretching to his left there, Vicario, wasn't he? He was beaten, and he knew it. But fortunately for Spurs, he's just gone the other side of the post, and that's 2 chances in the space of a minute. Again, Tottenham midfield have been so disappointed with them that not been able to control the tempo of the game, looks so open, and now another sub coming on. Brennan Johnson about to come on, and yeah, maybe his pace can try and get the ball up the pitch a little bit more, and Colomorani as well.
Yeah, double change coming up for Thomas Frank. 68 minutes gone. Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 on Talksport 2. Liverpool have gone 4-1 up in Frankfurt over on Talksport. Cody Gakpo, the latest goal scorer. Crisis, what crisis? Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 4. So the 2 players going off are Richarlison and Odobert. Odobert just had that little side strain that's worried him, so he's coming off, and Richarlison was booked in the first half. He makes way for Colomorani, and Brennan Johnson for Odobert. So like-for-like switches in both instances, Scott Minto.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see. I mean, Brennan Johnson's played on the left. I think he probably prefers to play on the right and really use his pace to go down that right-hand side. So they've got wingers that can switch.
It's only a third appearance for Randal Kolo Muani in the Spurs shirt on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. And a couple of changes for Monaco as well. And Takumi Minamino, once at Liverpool, is coming on for Kazum Ouattara. And Ansu Fati is also making way for Christian Mawissa, who's been out since September with a hamstring strain. He's a centre-back. So I don't know, again, what that means for the setup of AS Monaco with those two changes, but Akliou still full of guile and invention as he finds Golovin in the centre of midfield. Now Minamino gets involved down the left-hand side of the box, ball played across the face of goal, and it's put behind for a corner by Pedro Porro. 0-0.
Again on the back foot, and again the counter-attack where they look dangerous. Good defending in the end from Pedro Porro, but yeah, I've been really disappointed with Spurs in the transition. Really vulnerable.
So, a chance for a corner kick for Monaco on their left-hand side. Referee doing the Robert De Niro, I've got my eyes on you, internationally recognised symbol. Corner kick's going to come in from Enrique, left-footed outswinger. Up go the heads, and it's Salisu got his head to it, but much like Danto in the first half, couldn't get his head over the top of the ball, and it's well over the crossbar for a goal kick to Spurs. Still we wait the deadlock to be broken on Talksport 2 in the Stade Louis II.
I thought you were going to say there, he's looking behind in the referee saying, "You're talking to me?"
There's plenty of time for that.
Right, look, we said it in the first half, didn't we? It might be one of those games where one goal wins it, and it's looking increasingly like that now. And to be fair to Thomas Frank, he's made enough changes to try and show that he wants to try and go on and win the game. It's not as if he's trying to sit back. I mean, they still look open.
We heard from Majestic, who hosts the Sunday night phone-in on Talksport in our introduction tonight, saying that Spurs squad isn't big enough. I'll break off from that for a moment, because Minamino is darted down the left-hand side of the penalty area for Monaco. 3 to Waymat with a cross, and he's won another corner off Danso. Is the Spurs squad big enough to compete on these multiple fronts?
I think if everybody's fit, then they've got some really good players there. Of course, there's Kulusevski, who I think they miss massively. Obviously, Maddison as well.
Yeah.
You know, you've got players who have come in really late and still adjusting to playing for Tottenham Hotspur and living in London and England as well, and getting used to the Premier League. It will take time, Dance, but very, very difficult. I mean, this is a team, don't forget, to finish 17th in the Premier League, and now you're expecting to have Premier League and Champions League football.
18 minutes to go. Corner kick swung in. Danso heads clear from inside his own 6-yard box. Poor clearance from Monaco, and now there's 4-on-2 for Spurs if they play it right. Simons holds play up for a moment, looks for Kolo Muani, and it was come to be won back by Enrique, who Kolo Muani pushed over. Free kick Monaco, and that was a counter-attack that was not seized upon as it should have been by Tottenham Hotspur.
Absolutely, and I think it shows where Xavi Simons is right now, where he looked to come back and just protect the ball rather than try and realise that the counter-attack that they were on. So many times Monaco have counter-attacked Spurs. Well, this was a chance of doing the reverse here, and again, it's almost just trying to keep the ball, and he's come back, and then he's played a short pass, and Kolo Muani's made the foul, and suddenly Monaco are back on the attack themselves.
Golovin slides it forward to Balogun, who just backheeled the ball accidentally when he was trying to do a step over. And Spurs get it clear. Eintracht Frankfurt 1, Liverpool 5. Dominic Szoboszlai gets the latest. That's live over on Talksport right now as Liverpool are cantering towards 3 points. Sporting equalise against 10-man Marseille in Lisbon. That's 1-1. Jenny Katamo with the equaliser for the Portuguese.
Let's hope that Eintracht Frankfurt will be just as bad in January when Spurs play the last game.
That is the last of their 8 in the Mega League group stage. Remember, it's the first 24 teams that are guaranteed Champions League football beyond the Mega League. Oh, here's Enrique for Monaco, lobbing it across the face of goal. Tezza, what a save on the line from Vicario. Kept it out again superbly to deny Monaco the lead. Tezza right in front, and I mean right in front. 6 yards out, tried to bury the header, blocked by Vicario, and here comes Spurs on the counter-attack. Colin Mawani finds Simons, 20 yards out, plays it back out to Porro, right-hand side, tosses the ball into the box, comfortable playing from Kern. And once again, the Spurs goal leads a charmed life at 0-0.
Dancer, I don't care what happens from here on in. I think we know where the man of the match is.
Oh yeah, I've got to ask you as well. Here is Koulibaly sliding the ball into the area, looking for Akliouche. In slid Mickey van der Ven with a go-go gadget, telescopic leg to get it clear. And then Kehrer is fouled just inside the Spurs half of the field. Landed awkwardly on his back, might be winded a little bit as he was caught by Simons. Well, Simons just made a back for him. Ooh, it's an awkward landing. He must be winded by that, Thilo Kehrer.
I mean, he must be. It was a bad landing, but Simons didn't do anything wrong there. He just stopped, and then he's jumped and run into him. And I mean, we're watching a replay of the Tezza chance. I mean, he's got to put that away and give Vicario no chance whatsoever. You know, in slow motion, I don't think that gives the keeper enough credit. He's read the situation, he's come over, he's made a save, and he's made sure he's just had strong hands and batted it out. I mean, that's 3, you could argue 4, but definitely 3 excellent saves from Vicario that's kept Tottenham Hotspur in this game.
Well, Kehrer is still getting treatment after that very awkward landing flat on his back after the challenge from Simons, and they're being very careful with him, the two physiotherapists out there for Monaco, just holding his head and making sure that there's nothing seriously wrong with the former West Ham defender. There might be a change in the offing for Sebastian Poglignoli, although I'm delighted to say that Kehrer is now sitting up. Gives me a chance to remind you we've got more live football for you tomorrow across the Talksport network. 3 games, 2 from the Europa League, 1 from the Conference. Our Europa League action gets underway here on Talksport 2 at 5:45 with Go Ahead Eagles against Aston Villa. And then a choice of listening at 8 p.m. Nottingham Forest against FC Porto on Talksport. Crystal Palace in the Conference League against AEK Larnaca at 8 on Talksport 2. Bayern Munich 4, Club Brugge 0. Nicholas Jackson gets the 4th for Bayern. And he's the player that has been allowing Harry Kane to drop deep for a play as a 10 for Vincent Kompany's men lately, is Nicholas Jackson. He has the 4th. And Bruges, who comfortably beat Monaco with 4 goals on match day 1, getting their backsides handed to them in the Allianz Arena, but that happens quite a lot to visiting teams at Bayern Munich, let's face it.
Chelsea included.
It's very true. Oh boy. But Chelsea are enjoying themselves against 10-man Ajax tonight. If you're just tuning in, Chelsea are 5-1 up against the Dutch side. Liverpool also 5-1 up, but away from home in Frankfurt. But it's still goalless here at the Stade Louis Dirt with 13 minutes to play on Talksport 2. And the best chances, the gilt-edged chances, have all gone to AS Monaco. And they're looking for Minamino. Lovely flick in field for Golovin. Down the left-hand side of the area, tries to pull it back. Hurried clearance from Danso. Headed down by Kehrer, who's none the worse for wear, thankfully, after his awkward fall a moment or 2 ago. Akliouche, one of the men most likely for Monaco, in the centre of the Spurs half. Steers the ball out to the left-hand side for Enrique. Thought about putting an early cross in. I think Minamino would have been offside. Golovin lofts it into the area. Enrique across, volleyed over the bar. What a chance for Minamino to give Monaco the lead. This time Vicario didn't need to make the save because the volley over the top was wasteful from 6 yards out. 0-0.
Well, gotta say, that was brilliant team play. It really was. Little 1-2 touch movement off the ball. Pedro Porro claiming offside, he wasn't. And Minamino in the end just stretching. And because he's stretching, not able to get control of the ball, 6 yards out and hits it over in the end. And I think the fact that we're seeing Jed Spence coming on for Mo Kudus shows exactly what Thomas Frank is thinking. He will absolutely take a 0-0 right now after Monaco dominated this game really after the first 10 minutes.
England's Jed Spence. We can say that now with full confidence. And his redemption arc's been fantastic. He was barely getting a look in at Spurs. I remember him scoring early last season in the EFL Cup at Coventry when Spurs looked like they were going out of the competition. And he scored late on. And he's never looked back from that moment for Spurs. And good for him. He's on for Kudus. But that is definitely a what we have, we hold substitution from Thomas Frank. With just over 10 minutes to go in Monaco, 0-0. Spurs have won a free kick for a foul by Akliouche just inside the Monaco half of the field. Just barging into Japalinia. So what have Spurs got left in these last 10 minutes or so? Waiting for full times in the Championship 7:45 kickoffs. Bring you those as soon as we have them. Pedro Porro with his free just inside the Monaco half of the field. 10 minutes left then. 0-0 the score. On Talksport 2. Porro with this free kick. Monaco holding a very high line. They're a good 25 yards from goal as they stand all in a line towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Porro drills it into the right-hand side. That's a terrible free kick. Just swerves away from Danso and out of play for a throw down Monaco's left-hand side. 0-0.
I think that sums up Spurs tonight, really, doesn't it? Really poor. Haven't really got going in this Champions League season so far.
And now they're under pressure as Jordan Teze comes away down the right-hand side. Early ball into the area, but it just gets ahead of Balogun. But he might get it again with his back to goal. Tees up Akliouche down the right-hand side of the box. Teze pulls it back. Minamino with the drive, and it's just the wrong side of the post. Another chance for the Japanese not taken. Another goal kick for Tottenham. 0-0 it stays on Talksport 2.
Yeah, this one a bit more difficult because he's coming towards the near post and he's kind of ran past it, which means he's got to get good contact. Looks like he slips as well. Not quite sure why. Might have been better off just taking the touch, but it would have been difficult to hit the target there because he'd ran past the near post. Well, there's no doubt about it. Thomas Frank with the subs he's made, the way Monaco are playing, just absolutely take 0-0 now. Spurs have been really poor, so what's the positive you can take out of it? Well, at least a point, and who knows? Who knows? Maybe with a corner or set piece or one bit of brilliance, they can nick it. Just can't see it happening at the moment.
What's the betting we hear the phrase miles off it from Jamie O'Hara tonight on the sports bar? Here's Akliouche finding Balogun, turning it across the face of goal. Minamino again over the bar. Snatched at the volley, 15 yards from goal, couldn't keep it down. And the former Liverpool man has had 3 chances to give Monaco the lead since coming on as a substitute, but it stays goalless.
Yes, he has. And again, like all evening, Spurs have been far too open. How has he got that amount of space? He's got to hit the target. He's, 13 yards out? Pretty much in front of goal. Yes, you got Mickey van der Ven throwing himself at you, but you've got to just focus on the ball and hit the target. Goodness, he's hit it over.
Well, following Balogun's put in a really good shift for me for AS Monaco tonight. 2 efforts in the first half, 1 incredible save to deny him from Vicario, but he's now going off for Monaco. Mika Biret, who joined in January for £11 million from Sturm Graz. The Dane is on for the American for these last, 7 minutes or so of normal time. QPR have beaten Swansea by 1-0 in the Championship. Now here's Akliouche for Monaco down the left-hand side of the area. Early ball into the box. There's nobody really keeping up with play in a red and white shirt, so Vicario could comfortably make a save at his near post. 0-0.
Well, they definitely believe they can get this goal. And even more so now. 1 goal wins it. Akliouche, he's been the star player, really, isn't he, on the pitch. The Spurs, I think it says everything that Vicario, by far and away the best player with the saves that he's made.
Sarr into the centre circle for Gray. What have Spurs got left in these last 7 minutes or so? Porro making tracks down the right-hand side. Swings the crossing, headed away by Salisu. And it will go out of play. Chance for a long throw maybe from Kevin Danso to hurl back into the Monaco box. Time running out at the Stade Louis II. 0-0. It stays on Talksport 2.
We want time to run out. Honestly, this has not been a good performance, but if you can come away with a point, who knows, with a long throw here, you just never know.
Plenty of those black shirts in the area for Spurs. Danto with the throw. Plenty on it. Into the near post and headed away a bit hesitantly from the Monaco back line. It's actually come off a Spurs player last of all, Van der Ven. So it's a throw in Monaco's left back position. Watford have beaten West Brom. Javi Gracia gets a win in his second game back in charge. They came from behind to beat West Brom by 2-1. And Watford will be in action at Coventry in our first game Saturday afternoon. Our coverage starts at noon. Coventry against Watford, and then Millwall against Leicester following that on Saturday afternoon for a championship double-header. Here is Teza for Monaco as the French side come forward again. Akliouche for the dummy. Villaret with his back to goal. Gives it back to Akliouche. Couldn't get the purchase on the shot. There's enough shirts back for Spurs to get it clear. And then there's a foul on Papsar as he tried to bring it clear. Free kick. 5 minutes to go. And this game is, well, I mean, you can't argue that it's drifting towards a 0-0 because Monaco is still asking questions.
Well, it's drifting towards either a 0-0 or 1-0 for Monaco. I mean, the 57% possession doesn't sound like they've dominated, but 22 shots to 9 and 8 on target to 2. Spurs have had just 1 shot on target in each half. And the saves that Vicario has made, well, you know, if you look at the scoreline, you think, oh, they've defended well. Well, they haven't as a team, not necessarily as defence, but without their goalkeeper, definitely will come away with nothing. And there's still a chance that could happen.
Ball played down the right-hand side. Brennan Johnson very nearly in behind. But Ouattara managed to shield the ball away from him. And he's won a throw as Kolo Muani was at his back. So Monaco have a throw, but deep in their own half, left-hand side. Will Spurs try and press and compress the play and try and hem Monaco in their own defensive third?
Why not? We don't deserve to come even away with a point, but just press. If you can win the ball back, you're in the final third. We definitely have the players that can create a little bit of brilliance that can win this game or, you know, get a goal, but it's just been a really disappointing performance. We think of Villarreal sort of nicked the 1-0 and it was a really poor goal that Villarreal conceded. Bodo Glimt, they came back from 2-0 down. You can say that, you know, it's good character there, but really Bodo Glimt should have put that game to bed, and this has been really poor as well. But if they can come away with a win and 2 draws after 3 games after those performances, well, that's definitely a positive to take, but performances have to be better from here on in if they are to qualify, even through the playoffs.
Scott Minto with us tonight on Talksport 2. You're listening to Monaco 0, Tottenham 0 in the Champions League, live on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. We've got 3 minutes of normal time left. And Monaco are in possession in their own half of the field with Mo Salisu. Wrexham have beaten Oxford despite going down to 10 men in the second half. Wrexham, they win by 1-0 at the racecourse. Minamino, who's had 3 chances since coming on as a Monaco sub, finds Akliouche 30 yards from goal, goes for it, and he's only just wide. Another attempt on goal from Monaco. Again, Vicario at full stretch. But once again, it doesn't hit the target. 0-0.
No, and I think this time Vicario knew it was going wide. He's had the dive. I'm sure he'll just say to the photographer behind him, did you get that? But fortunately, he didn't have to pick the ball up in the back of his net. I mean, to be fair, it's going to take a good strike to beat him tonight.
Salisu beaten to it by Kolo Muani, and now away down the left-hand side goes Papsar, rolls it across the goal. Johnson has the shot at goal, and it's blocked on its way to goal by Ouattara, who celebrates blocking it like he's just scored. 0-0.
What an opportunity! He's even got time to take a touch there. He's on his left foot. Never really looks like he's going to hit it with any conviction. I just wonder, when you're on your wrong foot, just take that touch, move your body, and then absolutely just ping it. Otherwise, you're hoping you get great strike, and he didn't. What an opportunity for Spurs to absolutely nick this.
Here come Monaco again. 2 minutes to go, but Golovin's ball infield is gobbled up by Xavi Simons. And then a foul on Colin Mawani on halfway, and Spurs get a free kick. We'll find out shortly how much is going to be added on at the end of the 90. Is there going to be another chance in this game for either side? I mean, Spurs have just had a great chance there with Brennan Johnson. Never mind the plethora of chances that Monaco have had this evening. Spence gives it back just inside his own half to Van der Ven, who kept the ball away from Minamino and guided it back to Vicario. Sporting go in front against Marseille. Marseille were down to 10 men for long spells. Alison Santos makes it Sporting 2, Marseille 1 in the Champions League late on. Vicario, long ball down the centre of the field looking for Colin Mawani, but headed away by Salisu. It was only as far as Saar, but a poor touch from him allowed Monaco to work it back to the halfway line. But Spurs get it back. Porro down the far right-hand side, tries to get it in behind for Jean-Paulini, but Golovin hooks it out of play for a throw.
It's a great opportunity again. Probably look most dangerous with the long throws. So right on 90 minutes, and they somehow nick this one.
6 minutes of minimum stoppage time. That's what we're into now on Talksport 2. Monaco 0, Tottenham 0. Danso will have another long throw hurled into the near post. Keeper again comes and doesn't get it, but they're able to smuggle it clear of Monaco, and Porro has to chase back towards the far touchline to retrieve it. We'll give it back to Spence, and now Vicario, midway point of his own half, the Spurs keeper, finds Xavi Simons, who thought about a diagonal ball left to right, but then gives it back to his keeper. Bayern Munich have won 4-0 against Club Brugge tonight. Spurs looking for an unlikely winner. Moving down the left-hand side with Jed Spence. Plenty of red and white shirts marking him. Finds Archie Gray. Now Simons. Drifting across field. Went for the ambitious drive from fully 30 yards out. Got right underneath it. Goal kick. Minute of the 6 added on is gone. Still Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Blimey, it'd have to be an absolute wonder strike to score from there. 30 yards out when you're under pressure as well. And suddenly, just in the last 30, 60 seconds, Spurs have been on the attack, so just keep passing it.
And they have it again with Archie Gray. Finds Simons again, left-hand side, tucks it in field to Spence moving forward. Spence looked like he was lining up to have a shot there from 30 yards, but thought better of it. Now trying to get down the left-hand side of the box. Koulibaly gets in front of Saar to get the ball clear. Anywhere will do for Monaco now. They feel like they're under a bit of pressure here, the hosts, in added time. 0-0.
This is definitely better from Spurs. It's what we wanted to see really from much more of the game. Now, we've got to be careful in the counter-attack like we've seen all evening. And now it is Monaco on the back foot.
Van der Ven out to Spence on the left-hand side, still inside his own half. Lovely flick to try and get Simons away over halfway, but Koulibaly got the better of him, and there was a foul on Koulibaly by Simons. You look at what Monaco have got to play. They've got to go away to Bodo and Paphos in their next 2 games. They'd love to get 3 points here to go into those away games. Minamino goes down under pressure from Palinha. No foul, says the referee. Quickly waved those protests away. And Jed Spence has it for Tottenham Hotspur down the left-hand side. Outpaces one man, but can't outpace another. Koulibaly brings it forward for the host, but now it's intercepted by Archie Gray. Gets in front of Minamino, driving through the centre of the field. Archie Gray, he's got players to his right. Oh, he tried to take it all the way into the penalty area. It's only been half cleared. Simons now at the edge of the box. Little back heel for Gray, trying to move down the left-hand side of the box. Brennan Johnson had been calling for it for 30 seconds on the right-hand side of midfield and couldn't find it. And now Monaco have it with Akliouche. Gets up to the halfway line and he finds Biarrette, the substitute. Akliouche going through the middle. Biarrette rides the challenge of Palinha. Plays it in field to Minamino, 30 yards out. Further across to Golovin. Golovin can't get past his man. Good interception from Brennan Johnson, back helping out his defenders, but Monaco still have it. Still got over 2.5 minutes of added time to play. 0-0. Kehrer finds Akliouche right-hand side, near the right-hand corner of the area. Into the box for Koulibaly down the right-hand side. Plays it back for Teza. Couldn't get the shot in. Palinha got a foot in. Only half cleared though. And the offside flag goes up. And Spurs can breathe again and get the ball downfield with a free kick. And Scott Minto can breathe again as well.
Well, it was better defending in the end. And again, just that sort of ball in behind into the box. Archie Gray went with him. Then it looked like he was absolutely free there in the middle, the Monaco player. And Paulinho came across and just nicked it off him. And to be fair, the last 5-10 minutes, and both teams have tried to go for it. It's been a really open game. Still think 0-0 for Spurs would be an absolutely tremendous result, but the subs are starting to kick in now. They're looking a little bit stronger, and you're absolutely right. Brennan Johnson, for about 30 seconds, was holding his hands up saying, "Get the ball out to me." Wasn't able to in the end.
On the halfway line, Violette has won a throw, taken it quickly, has it? No, it was a throw to Spurs. He took it when he thought it was his throw, did the Danish substitute. Instead it's a Spurs throw. So just over a minute of the minimum stoppage time left to play. Still 0-0, but still you just get that nervous feeling that something can happen at either end in these last knockings. Remember, Monaco left it late to get a penalty against Manchester City here last time out in the Champions League. But here comes Spurs with Pedro Porro down the right-hand side, swings a deep cross in, goes out on the left-hand side of the area, picked up by Xavi Simons. Tees up Jed Spence, left-hand corner of the area, can't get the cross in, has to back away, gives it back to Simons. Spence again, plays the ball in field to his captain Van der Ven. Liverpool have won 5-1 in Frankfurt. Live on Talksport. Simons in space, receives a crossfield ball now, level with the 18-yard line. Plays it in field to Spence. Spence gets his head up, tries to work the cross in, blocked out of play by Koulibaly for a throw to Tottenham Hotspur. Thomas Frank quickly gives the ball to Jed Spence. No long throw this time from Kevin Danso. This is going to be thrown down the line for Kolo Muani, but he can't get the possession. But the referee blows for full time, and 2 successive draws for Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League, but they will be delighted to have a point out of this game, just as they were in the Arctic Circle a couple of weeks ago, because Monaco tested them and tested them again tonight. And if it wasn't for Vicario between the sticks for Thomas Frank's men tonight, it could have been a very, very different story on the south coast of France. Some excellent saves from Vicario, particularly from following Balogun in the first half, have kept a clean sheet for Tottenham. And so Thomas Frank does indeed go 3 games unbeaten in the Champions League, the first Tottenham manager to do that in his first 3 games in charge. But he will be the more frustrated of the 2 managers in one sense, that he couldn't get the win. But for the new manager of Monaco, Sébastien Pocognoli, this is what might have been for AS Monaco, because at full time it's Monaco 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
But there's no doubt about it that Monaco will be thinking, how on earth did we not win that game? 23 shots to 11, 8-2 on target. And whether your religion is expected goals or not, and it's not mine, but it does tell you a story. Expected goals of 2.5 for Monaco, not even 1 for Spurs. So Vicario, by a million miles, the man of the match tonight. And look, do you know what? The positive you can take is they're getting used to Champions League football. They're getting used to the combination of Premier League and Champions League. And 3 games so far, unbeaten, 1 win. You take that, but that wasn't a great performance. They were so open from a defensive point of view, and without their goalkeeper in very, very good form, that had come away with absolutely nothing there. It was a disappointing performance, but it was we'll take the result all day long.
Well, handshakes all around on the pitch, but I think there is definitely a feeling of what might have been for the French side. Clearly an improvement under their new manager. Looks like he's making them a bit more of a threat going forward, but no goals tonight in this one. Spurs have a win and 2 draws, so they're unbeaten so far in the Champions League. Next up, they will welcome FC Copenhagen to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on match day 4. But I think it's high time, I think it's fairly obvious where this one is going to go, that Scott Minto picks our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here For It hero on Talksport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Do you need to ask the question?
Well, I've got to.
Okay.
Contractually speaking, I do have to ask the question. So,
the
Scott
corporate
Minto,
man that you are.
Yeah, who is your man of the match?
Look, I'd like to mention Archie Gray again. He's not someone who sort of plays a lot of minutes at this moment in time, and he's one of the most versatile youngsters, and he is still young in the Premier League. I thought he had a very, very good performance, but by a million miles he was Vicario. The saves that he made, there's no doubt about it, he has kept Spurs in this match, and he is the reason, almost standalone, as to why they're able to come away with a point.
There you go. Open and shut case, really. Vicario is Scott Minto's man of the match, Here For It hero with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.